But it's Smee45, and I am joined by my good friend Chase. We've known each other for a while now, almost 3 years, I think. So it's been a pretty good rip. Um, I know you guys have missed the show. We didn't have one last Thursday, so it's been a while since we had a show, but we are back and we're good to go. And I don't know what episode it is anymore. I think it's like 23 or something. So it's moving right along. But I'm gonna let Chase give you a little bit of background on himself and what he's about and what he does in his content creation. Take it away.
Well, Smee, I want to thank you first for inviting me to be here. I've been looking forward to this night for a few weeks now, ever since you gave me the invite to join you on the show. So, first off, thank you so much for letting me be here and be a guest. As Smee said, my name is Chase, or I go by Adveous on Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, all that stuff. Content creator, streamer, grad student, getting my master's degree right now. I've been on Twitch for about 3 years, on and off, due to personal reasons, school being the primary one, work, travel, things like that. But primarily, I focus on a lot of shooter games. Call of Duty, the biggest one I've been playing recently is Escape from Tarkov. Put almost like 800 hours into that game since the beginning of 2020 alone. And then just recently, over the past month and a half, 2 months, I've been getting deep into Minecraft, trying to change it up a little bit. Um, but very passionate about video games. I've been playing games my entire life ever since I was a young kid playing, GoldenEye and Mario Kart 64 with my father uh, in the late 90s with Legend of Zelda, all the way up until now, where I, continue to game on a daily basis. It's been a big factor of who I am as a person, as an individual, where I've made the majority of my friends and how I keep in contact with my friends that I've met over the years. So, gaming's a huge aspect of my life, kind of who I am, to be honest with you, Smee.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is. Like I said, we've got to know each other pretty good over the last almost 3 years, which I
Yep.
think like November, a little bit past November will probably be 3 years, which is kind of crazy that 3 years is even around the corner already. Like you don't know where time goes. I mean, meeting you, I met you in Hell's Army. I think that's what
Yep.
it was called. I don't know.
Yeah, I actually remember the day that I was introduced to you actually. Um so I got into touch with Hell's Army thanks to one of my friends from college. His name is Toxic Token, who introduced me to Hell's Army. And it was about 3 years ago now, whenever he did his giant fundraiser for you,
Yeah.
um, that he first introduced me to who you were as a person. And I remember jumping in immediately, trying to help support you with what was going on in your personal life back then. And without hesitation, sub to you, sent you a donation, I think of like 20, $25, whatever I could afford at the time. And then from there on out, we just took off as good friends,
Yeah.
basically, and haven't looked back since.
Yeah, definitely haven't looked back. I mean, all it is everything's a forward, and it's just like I'm just like I get blown away by like all of it because like 3 years, man, 3 years is no short time, bro. Like it's just like flying. I mean, like I said, I've been behind you 100%, like since I've got to know you with college and everything, because you're one of the first people to come up to me and be like, "Hey, how do I do this?" Like you go, you listen. You know what I mean? Like, and you put a lot of effort into what you're doing. And I think I was probably one of the first ones. Hey, look, if you got to take away from it and go to school, go to school. This isn't going nowhere. I'll be here. I'll make sure you're good. If I have to raid you 100 times, I'll raid you 100 times to make sure your content comes back and you get back to where you were before you left. And that's the kind of relationship we built. Like if I need something PC wise, or if I got any kind of questions along anything to do with that stuff, I'm like, hey, look, that's my question. You'll get back to me. And same things like with school stuff because my wife deals with that stuff. We've had conversations with her with all that loan stuff and that stuff because that's what she deals with. I don't know nothing about it, but we've built like it's not even like a streaming friendship anymore. It's become an IRL thing that we just haven't met yet. And I'm sure that's coming sometime once we can all travel again and we're all making the money that we need to make to be able to travel. So I look forward to that day for sure.
Oh, same. And you were a driving force behind that. And for everyone viewing that doesn't know, I'm going into my second year of grad school, which will be starting in about a month from now. And this time last year, towards the end of summer, right before school would start, you and I had a very heart to heart conversation of like, I've been streaming literally almost 5, 6 days a week for the past year and a half, 2 years, nonstop. And I don't want to risk the growth that I had and it hitting a brick wall and falling apart and starting back from square one simply because I'm going to school. And without hesitation, you straight up told me what you just said. Who cares about streaming? Go get your education. This will always be here for you whenever you're done. And thankfully, I took what you said to heart and took almost an entire year off of streaming up until about May. Um, when I finally got back into it once my first year of grad school was over and I could actually focus on myself a little bit more. And thankfully, now going into my second year, learning what I did for my first year of grad school and taking your advice, I believe that I can actually balance both, at least to some degree, maybe stream once a week or something like that moving forward into this final year. So, yeah, it's become an actual friendship, not just two guys that met online in a Discord. We actually have meaningful, good conversations all the time about real world things
Yeah,
that are
I mean,
happening.
definitely, and I think that's the thing is like I don't think a lot of people realize what can come out of streaming, and if you actually put time into somebody, like so that was my big thing is I've always wished I had somebody behind me. Hey, look, go get your education, go do this. Don't be a dumbass. Like this platform's huge. It really isn't going anywhere. Like we all know it in the back of our heads, but it's something. This is addicting. It is very addicting. You love games. I love games. This is what we love to do. Like so, stepping away from what you love to do is a hard thing to do. I faced that when I retired from football. I played since I was 6 till I was 33 years old. That's all I did all year round. That's all I did. Like that was my thing. And when I had to retire, it was probably the hardest thing to walk away from. Is like because like in my mind, I can still keep up with these young guys. In my mind, I can still play at the top level. But in reality, no, I can't. You know what I mean? Like in reality, my body's beat up, my body's tired. It can't do those things no more. But my thing was is you're young, and I've always been a believer in education. Education's huge. I just didn't have my mind when I was in college to stay in college. And I see what my wife's doing with her college, and I see what you have the ability to do in your drive and your motivation in yourself. And that's why I've always been like big on your you. Hey, look, just go to school, do what you got to do. Like I said, I will be here whatever I have. If I catch you online while I'm streaming and I'm done, I'll raid you and try to keep it going for you. And but education is definitely a number one thing. That's the number one thing in my house. Like with my kids come home from school, they sit down at the table, they do their homework. They can't do anything else until it's done. And education is a big thing now. Like you're not going to get like it's hard to get anywhere now without a good education. I mean, some people are lucky; they're just beyond stupid smart, and they can do that. Like Bill Gates and those guys. You know what I mean? Like those guys didn't need an education; they were just dumb smart, and they can do what the hell they needed to do and get lucky. But that's why I'm always on you guys. Like anybody younger, like I'm always trying to put in what, like I think about my mind. You know what I mean? Like I think about what I didn't do, and I put myself in that position. I'm like, look, you need to go and do this shit because this shit is what's gonna pay you. You know what I mean? Streaming's a lucky thing, bro. It really, I don't give a fuck. Anybody says, bro, it's either you get lucky and hit or you don't hit at all. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things. Like, you can't hit the live button and make thousands of dollars right away. It just
Yeah,
doesn't work.
and that was a big thing that was bothering me for the longest time is I was so focused on just trying to stream and make good content and try to be who I was on stream and that be enough for me to, grow and get big. And it took me a while to realize that that was taking my love and my passion out of gaming and removing it from the equation. And it wasn't until um actually this past school year after I stopped streaming and I didn't play a single video game for about 2.5 months, realizing I was like really down on myself and not really feeling who I was and not really enjoying anything I was doing in life, whether it be, going out and grabbing a few drinks with my friends or hanging out with my buddies after class or whatever. It just didn't, something was off. And I realized that it was because I took the love and passion I had out of gaming because I was so focused on trying to stream and trying to grow that it took all the fun out of it. And thankfully, I'm to a place now where I'm enjoying what I do. I'm enjoying getting online and playing video games with my buddies again. And it's something that I lost because I got distracted on what actually matters.
Yeah, I mean numbers. Like I've done it myself, and like I mean you know me for like I said 3 years, so you've seen me at the top. Like you see me with like huge numbers, and I did that myself. I got in that little head game, and I try to tell people that start and like just leave the numbers alone. Don't pay attention to the numbers. Like it's a real thing. Like it'll mess up your mental state real quick. Like it'll put you in a funk, and you'll become this person you really aren't. You'll become like super toxic. You'll become like aggressive, and you'll be like, bro, you start thinking you deserve things, or somebody owes you something, and they don't. Nobody owes you nothing. You choose to stream what you play. You know what I mean? We choose that every time, and that's the thing is people don't realize that we choose to do this. You know what I mean? We choose to push the live button. We choose to do it. We choose to pick up a controller. We choose what game we play. And that doesn't say, hey, well, because I push the live button, you have to give me a sub or you have to donate to me or you have to follow me. They don't gotta do a goddamn thing. And that's the thing is people don't realize that. Like people think that because they're a streamer, they're owed these subs or follows or whatever it is. And you're not. And if you don't keep your mind focused and away from that shit, you're going down the tube. And if you're not mentally strong enough, you're not gonna make it back up.
Yeah. And I think that's one thing you've realized about me because you spent countless hours in my stream. I am beyond grateful and thankful for anyone that just stops by and says hi. And I try to make sure that's something that I hold on to is that I try to humble myself that people are coming in and hanging out with me, spending their quality time with me when there's hundreds of thousands, if not millions of other people on the platform that they could, hang out with instead. Um, so no, I get it. I try to keep myself humble in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, and that's one thing I do love about you because you don't care if it's one viewer, you don't care. You treat I've been in your stream long enough, so I've got to experience it. You don't care how many they're there. You treat everybody that comes in there with the same respect. You treat them like they are the top of the world and they're there for you. So you're like, dude, like you're all in. No matter if they're there for 1 second, 2 seconds, whatever it may be, if end up spending a ton of time, you know what I mean? Like you're they're your guys. Like you're like, hey, look, come back. I got you. We're in this. Like, and that's one thing I really love about you is because you have, and I think that's why I've spent so much time with you and not let you give up on what you want to do here is because of your focus, your mentality, and your drive to it. I see the passion and I have that same passion. So we kind of it feeds into you and it feeds all, and we like kind of bounce back off each other. And that's why, like, I don't like sometimes I don't put a lot of time into certain people because I don't feel like some people just want that handout. You know what I mean? And some people aren't willing to work. They see somebody else being successful, so they want to jump on that successful train and not work with it. They want to just ride the train and go with this person and you're not that way. You'd rather sit on the side of the train, watch the train go by, and build your and work your ass off. And I think that's why I gravitate towards you so much and have no problem helping you.
Yeah, and I try to make sure that if I can't grow my numbers or I can't make someone successful I make myself successful. I do everything I can to help someone else.
Yeah.
Um, whether it's that answering computer questions or explaining something in a game people don't understand or trying to help better educate um, people on certain aspects of gaming, I want to be able to do my part to help everyone.
Yeah.
Um, just not because it's going to help me in the long run. That's not what it's about. It's about, the viewers. You're there, you're asking these questions. These questions are important to you. So let me figure out the answer. Let me do what I can to make sure you're getting what you want out of the stream I provide or the content I make. Because that's really what it's all about to me. That might come from my education background, someone that has a teaching degree, but it also is just me wanting to help others however I can. I mean, I know you've come to me multiple times for computer advice or questions or things like that. So, when I say this, I am being as honest as I possibly can that I try to help everyone in that same regard. Everyone is important to me when they jump in and say hi.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, that's the stuff that uh I love about it. And that's, you don't see that all the time, you know what I mean? And it's it's humbling. It is very humbling as a person that you look up to and you respect, and you don't take my word for granted. And like I said, I always try to put people, like if I work with you, I try to put you in a place where I'm not going to do the work for you, but I'm going to put you in place and give you the tools that will help you succeed and put you in line for that. It's up to you to figure out how to maneuver and make it happen.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things I think is like really really key, is like, because a lot of people don't, like I said, a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people won't do that. And that's what I love, when somebody's like, hey, look, well, you're giving me this, you're giving me information, but it's in my court to make it happen, and then you're willing to do that. So like that's, I think that's one of my things. And like I said, it's very humbling for somebody to have that kind of respect for me, as because I'm not, I've been, like I said, I've been there, and I kind of messed it up myself, but I've been up there with the big people. I've done what a lot of people want to do, I guess you want to say. And that is, it sucks to be where I'm at right now. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of rough, but it's my own doing. But to still have people back me as yourself, like the people that are in my stream now, they are the most loyal people I could have around. And to me, it's changed my mindset, I guess you want to say, to have a better respect for the people that are still there. You know what I mean? Like like yourself, Funky, he's here, Drunken, Fox, like those guys have been here. A lot of these guys have been day ones. Funky has built himself into the community, but those guys have been day one guys. Like yourself have been day one guys, and no matter how big I got or how little, how far I might have fell, you guys are like, yo, this is the same guy. He's still doing his thing. He hasn't changed. Like I never changed when I got high. I always was trying to bring you guys with me. You know what I mean? And it was just one of those things of, I had to humble myself. I had to come back to earth and be like, look, get away from the numbers, get away from all that, and it doesn't matter anymore, because you still have people that give a fuck. Like they're really here. They're. It's not a joke. Like it's not. They're not here to get anything from you. They're here because they like you as a person. They don't care what you're playing. They're watching, and that was the big thing for me. I guess that's the big thing, is like you don't see it as you grow as quick as I did. You know what I mean? Like I took off. Like we both know that. Like I blew up, and
Yeah.
it just was, it was crazy. And I guess it might, I might have not been prepared for that. You know what I mean? As a content creator, like sometimes you're not prepared for that explosion sometimes. And I think the best part of the explosion for me though is able to come to you, able to come to Drunken Fox and drop those big raids. Like that was the funnest time for me. I will never forget. I came in, I think I dropped like 150, 300 people on you to one night. You were sitting there, you're doing your thing, and it was I think it was you were just like coming back after your break, so you were kind of like in that spot of like teetering, like restart, no, like, and you were changing your name, and I'm like, look, he's on, and he's like, he got one person, and I was like, I told him I was gonna get him, and I that night
Yeah, you did.
I was hitting that night for some reason. I was just on this roll that night, and I still remember the face because you had your beer up and you stopped like all but choked on the beer. You stopped drinking the beer like you forgot you had the beer in your mouth. And you start choking and you're like trying to scream out holy fuck at the same time. And I'm rolling, like I'm losing it. And I was like, this is why I do what I do. Like this is exactly why. Cause that was like one of those moments that is priceless. Like it didn't cost me any money. It didn't cost me anything to be a good friend and just give that opportunity to you. And like I mean, like I said, some of us will never experience those things. And that's because some of us are more marketable, some of us may not be as marketable, and everybody's just going to take their time. Like it may take you 7 years to get there, or and it could take me 2 years, 3 years to get there. And it's just everybody's going to be different how they get put it out on the platform and what we do with it. But that is one night I will never forget because it was probably the funniest shit I ever seen. He tries to yell holy fuck and forgets he's drinking his beer at the same time, chokes. But his face, like I have to find the clip because we have it clipped. I think it's in my streaming Discord, and it was probably one of my best raids. It was probably one of the best raids ever because like you could see the light, like the eyes just pop, everything just goes. He's like, "What do I do?"
I had no idea what to do.
He didn't. He said it. He goes, "I don't know what to do." He reminded me of like Talladega Nights with Ricky Bobby. What do I do with
What do
my
I do with
hand?
my hands?
So it was one of those things uh just to see like he was like a deer caught in headlights. It really was. It was just a genuine thing. Like if you guys could experience it, it was just one of those things. It's like it's probably one of my favorite memories of streaming. Just to see that happen to somebody. Because I'm opposite of him. Like I love it. You could hit me with fucking 35,000. We're going hard. Like I'm not choking. I'm not hesitating. I'm going in. Like we're going into the light and that's where we're heading. And like I said, that was probably like and the thing was is I like when we first met, he was in Hell's Army and there was a lot of promises made inside this Discord. And this man supports his ass off. Like he's in everybody's stream. Like I could go to a stream, he was there. Like he might not have been there long, but he was bouncing and he was doing all this supporting, and like nobody was coming back to him. And I'm like, dude, this is
Yep.
fucked up. Like this is wrong. And I'm like, dude, look, I'm not trying to pry you from anywhere. And I told him that. I said, but here's my streaming Discord, and at that time we had like 1,000 people in there. But I cut it down because people were doing the same thing they did to him. And I don't roll that way. I was like, if you're putting in the work, we're gonna get you people to come in your stream. We're gonna show you some type of love. And I was like, I said, it's there. You make the choice. You do what you want. And he jumped over. He came actually jumped into the Discord. He stayed in Hells and he worked. And he was doing the same thing there and got to the stream team, got all that stuff. And then it was like a different swing, and he ended up making a choice. He was like, "Look, well, I'm putting time in, and your Discord is showing like people are popping in and stuff like that." And he made a choice, and he came over here. But and I think it was probably the best move because the things that went on in that other Discord
There was a
eventually,
lot that went down in that
it
Discord.
eventually destroyed it. Like it was a
Yeah.
partner Discord. It was Discord partner and everything, and it got literally destroyed. So it is. I was glad he made the move, and he's still there.
I'm glad I made the move. And real quick, I remember the first, because believe it or not, the two biggest streams when you look at just pure numbers that I've ever had were thanks to you. The one in which you're talking about, and then last summer it was May the 16th or 17th. I can't remember the exact date, but It was the late birthday stream that you surprised me with when I was in the
Oh
middle
yeah,
of
yeah.
playing Monster Hunter World, where you drop like 80, 90 people. And I legit started to cry because I had no idea what else to do. It was the largest, not only the largest raid, the most people that I've ever had in a stream, but also it was like the most random game ever for me anyway, because it was Monster Hunter, a game that I've never played before, a game I never like looked at, like a franchise. And I played a lot of just FPS games. So having Monster Hunter as the game that like at that point was the largest stream I ever had, I was just like my mind was blown. I had no idea what was happening, no idea what was going on, and that was like you brought me to tears twice, and I don't know what to do. Like I've always said, I've always wanted to be able to, like you do, have the ability to do something like that and make someone else's day. But
See,
bigger than that,
I think you do have that ability. I think you've done that ability with me, but as a friend. Not on a not in a raid form, not in a Twitch form, but being a real IRL friend, and that friendship that we built, I'll take that over a raid any day. You know what I mean? That's something that's built,
yeah,
and it's not you don't gain that very easy through Twitch. You know what I mean? Like it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort to build those relationships with certain people, and being willing to open up to a certain person and give that time, like there's a lot of trust that goes into it, you know what I mean? And because you don't I mean, we know each other from talking and doing like videos like this and stuff like that, but and talking on the phone because we both have each other's numbers, like like that's what I'm saying, guys. Like our friendship is not just here, it's grown to where we have each other's cell phone numbers and
yep,
whatnot like that. So the next step is actually meeting in real life, and that's what I think people miss out on. A lot of people, they like you said, that people get wrapped up in the numbers, and I think a lot of people miss out on those things. I think you there's a lot of really good people that you can meet on this platform, and it's just one of those things is people like it's you see a lot of people, they say they're not for themselves, but you know it instantly if you're here long enough. You'll know
yeah,
that you know if that person's for themselves or they're talking shit and they're not really here. They're gonna do whatever they have to get you to trust them for the wrong reasons. And we've both experienced it. I'm not gonna say the person's name, but we both experienced it.
yep.
Um, you
Where they promise one thing and it looks good on the outside,
and it
and
helps
it's
them.
very inviting,
It helps
and
them, and then
then they take that support that you've given them and they leave you behind and don't even give you a second thought after.
yeah, and that's where I think it's like I said, I think I'd rather have I love what we have, and I'd take that over anything that you could ever throw at me through Twitch viewers or anything like that. Like I like 100% would take that at 100%.
The only reason that I would want to have the ability to have such a large audience, um to be able to do something like that is, but a lot of people don't realize about me is that outside of streaming, outside of being a student and working, I focus a lot of my time on charity work and what I can do for causes that I'm passionate about. So if I were to able to have like the platform to draw attention to a cause that I'm passionate about, or raise money for something that I'm passionate about, not for me, I don't care about me. I want to be in that position to make a difference in a positive way with philanthropic events and fundraisers, things like that. Like pass on and share the love. Um, like that's something that I would I want to be able to do one day is have that much of an influence.
But
So
you can. Like I mean, look at me.
one day,
Look at me. The first time I ever did a charity event, first time I ever did it, I had 300 followers, I think. So I was a little guy. Little guy was tiny. Like, but I with charity, I don't really think you have to be big. I don't think you have to be huge. I think it's just more of a promotion thing, like how much time you put into promoting the event, how much you um how much you put into it. And I really like this platform. We all know has so many different things inside of it with mental illness. I mean, cancer, you name it, it's on this platform. And a lot of people, I really feel is like they come to this platform just because they can't be judged because you don't know who they are, or they it's just how I mean, people judge on this platform, but most of the time it's pretty safe for somebody to come in because they can talk out their stuff here and whatnot. And I think that's one of the things. I mean, I think you were actually part of one of the charity events we've done. Um, which we have another one coming up again if you want to get involved with it. We have one August 22nd. I don't know if you're back at school or what you're doing, but August 22nd, we're doing a 24-hour suicide prevention stream for AFSP again. And we have a bunch of streamers doing it. So more than welcome. If you want to join in, have fun. You don't have to stream for 24 hours either. You can do whatever
Uh,
you choose to do.
I'll have to double check, especially with all this COVID stuff going on. Because like I said, I work at a university in the Office of Student Life, and I'm a student at the same time, and that's about when my school would start back. I think that's during our week of welcome, which, as of right now, until further notice, in my office, I'm expected to work that weekend,
Okay.
which kind of sucks. But part of the job, you got to do what you got to do. So once I can actually get a better grasp on how that's going to look, especially with COVID still going on, um, then I'll be able
Yeah,
to
like
give
I
you a more
said,
definite,
but
clear answer.
you'd be able to stream at any time you want. Like if you get off work, you could stream for it. Like you don't have to have a set time to stream. You know what I mean? Like there's
Yeah.
like I said, there's gonna be multiple people doing it, and they're gonna stream on their own time. It just has to be inside the 24 hours. But yeah, I mean that's a big thing too for me, Swizzle. Like I'm not one to put anybody above me. I don't want to put anybody above me because I'm not above anybody. I'm not better than anybody on this platform. You know what I mean? Like I'm me. I'm gonna stay me, and uh, I like to let everybody get the real me. You know what I mean? A lot of people think they know who I am, and just because they grew up knowing me, but they have no idea who I really am because they really have never put the time into it. I mean, you know who I am. You grew up with me. You know how I was on the football field, and you know how I was around you guys. Like, do I think I'm better at some things than some people? Yeah, of course I do. Because if I don't think I am, then I'm probably gonna fail at what I'm trying to do. Uh, you gotta have some type of goal in your head, and you gotta feel that you're better in things. And because if you're not, you're gonna let people swallow you. And that's the world. The world is very aggressive when somebody doubts themselves. It will grab a hold of you, chew you up, and spit you out, and think nothing
Yeah.
of it. But I mean, so with everything going on, I mean, since you got grad school, you have everything. You got grad school going on. You got the work thing going on. So, do you have any plans on what may be to come, like with everything once you get back into the flow of things? Are you going to get like, are you going to try to make it happen more often instead of staying away from streaming?
Yeah. So I'm going to actually try to keep some sort of consistent schedule with streaming, even if it's just 1 day a week. I'm going to try to do something. It's going to be tough for the first couple weeks, simply because I know I have two night classes. I teach a night class as well, and I will have an online class. On top of that, I have my work hours and everything else in between. So it's going to take a week or two for me to adjust to see what free time I actually will have available to set aside a couple hours for a night or two to be able to stream, or do content creation, or whatever. And once I'm able to get past that first week or two, then I can actually come out with a consistent schedule and stick to it, because I'm going to learn from the lessons I had this past fall semester, my first year of grad school. Um, like I said, I stepped away from playing any video games at all. I didn't play a single thing. I played video games at least 3, 4 times a week my entire life up until these first couple weeks of grad school, first couple months. And I was terrible. I didn't have any fun with anything I was doing. I didn't enjoy my classes. I didn't enjoy, going out and watching movies with friends. I didn't even enjoy, the parties that I went to with my classmates until I actually started getting back to who I was, which is a video game player. And I found myself again. So I'm going to have to try to find a balance for, one, to keep fun and keep something interactive and fun to do that I enjoy, but also for me, my mental sanity of keeping who I am in line and
Yeah,
not letting school get in the way of that.
100%. Swizz, so you said you don't like using the camera because you feel people would judge you. Well, I'm gonna put it this way. This might sound harsh, it might sound dickheaded, but I'm gonna give it to you real because that's how I do it. No matter who the fuck you are in life, no matter how rich you are, how much money you got, there is somebody going to judge you. No matter if you're black, purple, white, green, yellow, whatever. You could be a tree, bro, and you're getting judged. Like everybody judges something. It's there's people that don't judge. I mean, but there's those people that no matter what you do, no how matter how great you live your life or how well you are and how much you try to help others, you get judged. Like me, I try to help everybody I can help, and I still get judged because people be like, oh well, he's just doing that trying to get his own self going. You know what I mean? But I'm not. But that's the judgment I'm going to give. Do I give a fuck what people say? No, not one bit. I am not that guy. And that's how you got to face it. Like you can't really care what people are going to judge you by. You know what I mean? Like that is something. If you learn to get past that, it's going to make life better because you let people talk. Let them say what they want to say. You know who you are. Your real friends know who you are. The people that you surround yourself with and are that you get close with in your circle, they know who you are, and that's all that matters. It don't matter who the fuck is out here in the world. Everybody has their option. They can either like you or hate you, and if they hate you, fuck them. Keep moving.
Yeah, Smee, if you don't mind,
Yeah.
on that, like something I've always said is if you have a problem with me personally, IRL, online, whatever, well, that's your problem. I honestly don't care. Like, if you got a problem with me, it seems like you need to figure out what the solution is, because your problem with me, I don't hold grudges. I don't hate anyone. I might have conflicts with people every now and then, but guess what? I'm going to confront that conflict or that issue, and we're going to get past it. That's the end of it for me. And if you still have a problem, well, that's on you, bud.
Yeah, that's how I say
It's
it.
not going to affect me at all.
That's how I say it. I mean, you have an option. Everybody has an option. They either go one way or the other. They like you or they don't. And like I said, that's your choice. It doesn't bother me which way you go. If you like me, you like me. If you hate me, you hate me.
Yeah,
I don't care because I'm still going to do what I like to do, and I'm still going to produce content. I'm still going to build relationships with people that care or give a fuck or want to have that type of deal. If you don't, oh well. Like go find somebody else because I'm not going to give you the time. Uh, there was a question for you though. The question was, as someone who's also in grad school herself, how do you how do you balance your time trying to grow your community, create content, and not fall behind on your studies?
so my community is a little different. First off, let me say studies are always the most important thing if you're in school. I have
Good answer.
a paid assistantship that pays for my tuition to continue my education and get my master's degree. Therefore, I need to make sure I'm doing everything in my ability to keep my academics up. And that's why, after my first year of grad school, even though all the hardships, all the struggles, me being a kinesthetic learner and having to switch halfway through a semester to online, getting through all this COVID-19 stuff that's happening with us, teaching a class, grading papers, all this, I was still able to come out my first year with a 3.98 GPA. I got all A's and one A minus in my
Congratulations.
first year, which is insane for me because I'm a terrible student. So grades, you think I'm joking. I graduated high school with a 2.7 and busted my ass off to get where I'm at as a student. It
Hey,
doesn't come easy. Not for me at least. So
but you worked for it. That's all that
academics,
matters.
academics, 100% focus on that before anything else. Um, as for my community, how do I grow it? Uh, so mine's a little different because we have four owners in my community. Three of us are uh But myself, obviously, one of them is a friend of mine from my undergrad institution. Um, so I know him IRL. Another one is an undergrad from a different institution. While I was a traveling consultant, I met him. He's in the same fraternity I am. Very good friends. We hit it out of the park as soon as him and I met. Became close. Um, and then the fourth one is someone that you're familiar with. It's me, Deputy Shane, who I met online, who was
Sure.
friends with all of us. We all had separate communities and we're kind of pulling and tugging at each other, like what Discord are we going to be in now? Or, Advious is offline. Let's go to, this other person's Discord now since he's not there. And we all decided to just come together and bring all of our communities into one because why fight over whose Discord we're going to be a part in? Because we're all the same group of people that played together anyway. So why does it matter? Um, and thankfully, I have three other people that are owners of the Discord who all have equal say, that all have understanding of where we're at, that we put people in place and around us that while one of us steps away for a time being, whether it's me in grad school or someone's working or got a new job, the other ones are able to kind of pick up the slack and push that forward a little bit. It's also important just to jump in there and say hi and let people know why you're not around as much. Of like, yeah, I'm in school. I won't be here on Wednesday nights. I teach a class. I got a night class Monday and Tuesday as well. But if you see me and message me in Discord, I'm here. Like, it's very simple. I'm always on my phone. I always have my laptop or I'm at my desktop, whether if it's at home or in my office, and I always have Discord open. So I'm always, while I'm maybe not talking to my community, I'm at least always aware of what's going on in my community. Um, as for creating content, that slows down because it takes a lot of time and a lot of energy, but you just got to be you. If it's just you getting out there and streaming, do what you love. Like I said, academics first. The same advice me told me last year. Content creation and streaming and all this will still be here once you're done with your academics. It's not going anywhere. So put a little bit more of your time and attention into your studies and get your education first. And that's what I had to say. I mean, it the advice me gave me, and it holds true. He was 100% correct in what he told me. So I just now got to follow through with what he said and got to keep going.
Yeah, I mean,
So hopefully that answers your questions. I think I covered all the points.
but no, yeah, I mean, like I said, I've always been big for you guys like that are going to school and stuff like that. Like even with my wife, you know what I mean? She's getting ready to have 5 degrees, dude. Like 5 degrees. Like you
Damn.
know what I mean? Like she's
I'm
like,
gonna
oh,
call it a.
she's like,
I'm gonna.
no, oh, it's no big deal. I'm like, bro,
No big
some
deal. I'm
people,
gonna call a timeout at 2.
some people don't even got a half of one. You know what I mean? Like me, I stopped before I even got halfway. And I'm like, you got five. Like you're doing accelerated and double masters and shit. Like, you know what I mean? And I was just like 5 degrees, like that's a lot of degrees. And I'm just
Yeah, it
like,
is.
and like she wants to help out here. And I'm like, look, I want you to help me too. I want us to have that, but you got way too much on your plate right now. Like you can't stop trying to overfill your plate. Like she does it with work. She does it with school. Like she'll just keep taking it on. I'm like, stop.
Now,
Like,
see, that's something that I learned a few years before we met. Actually, is not bite off more than you can chew.
oh, she's all about it.
Um,
But she somehow, no matter what she can shoot, whatever she bites off, she accomplishes it. I don't know how she does it, but
it takes a toll on you though.
it
Like,
does.
um, going back to like how I learned that lesson, I was a fifth year senior in undergrad. So I was trying to finish my degree. I had 12 hours of classes, working 20 to 30 hours a week. I was an education major, so I was also doing like clinicals and student teaching at this time, right? I held, I also, on top of that, held three different positions, one of them an executive position within my fraternity. And me being a fifth year a senior, I also just had a lot of roles like handed to me in the fraternity because I've been there for 5 years already. I'm not kidding when I say this. From the moment I got up to the moment that I was able to go home, not do homework, not grade papers, any of that, not do any fraternity stuff, just getting up, going to class, going clinicals, going to work, coming home. 4 out of my 5 days were 16-hour days, and the fifth day was a 12-hour day. Um, yeah, then I had all the other stuff that I had to do, like homework, grade papers, fraternity stuff, executive position, two other positions, one of which was trying to balance a budget of the house, which we had $3,500 that I had to collect and turn into the like just in rent every month, let alone everything else for our house. So you can imagine, me being 21 years old trying to collect rent from 12 different people. That's $3,500, and my name's on the lease. So is my father's name, who's our co-signer. I got a lot of stuff I got to juggle. Um,
Yeah, but
and
it makes you the person that you are now, though. I mean, you're able to handle that shit a lot easier, though.
oh yeah, it taught me how to manage stress because I didn't have time to stress. If I stressed, I was going to fail. So you just don't stress at that point. You learn to cope with it. Um, Biting off more than you can chew, it takes a toll. Like, it wears you down. Maybe not quick, but over time, you just get beat up. It hurts a lot.
So, I mean, with streaming, I mean, what do you think has been the best thing so far about it that you enjoy? What is the biggest thing you enjoy about it?
So the thing that I love most about streaming, I mean, is literally being able to interact with um people that come and chat. Like, yeah, it's great playing these awesome games and having these great highlight reels and making some sweet plays and acting goofy with all my buddies. That's awesome. But whenever I can actually take what I'm doing, and I got a good example for this the other day, I was playing Minecraft. But when I can take what I'm doing, like playing Minecraft, and help educate and teach people about a game that I love and a game that I play, that's the best thing about it. So in Minecraft, there's different realms. You have the overworld, the nether, and the end. Most people, according to Mojang, the developer's company, the company developer, whatever the hell you want to call them, 7 out of 10 people have that play Minecraft have only been to the overworld. So there's 70% of Minecraft players have only experienced one out of the three realms in which the game has to offer. I had someone who fell into that category jump into my stream and asked me a question on how I was flying in the game because he's never seen anyone fly in the game before unless it was using like hacks or mods or whatever. So I have an opportunity now to teach someone something new about a game and, you know, change up what I'm doing completely and go show them how it's done. Teach them, educate them on what to do. Um, I think that's one of the best things about streaming that you can have is having that educational mindset of like, I'm going to learn everything I can about a game or, let's say Call of Duty, right? Why am I using these certain guns and these certain attachments and why am I moving the way that I do? Well, if people are asking these questions because some of the things that I would do are so like off the wall and don't make any sense. Well, now I can give you an explanation why, at least my rationale. It might not be right, but this is why I'm doing it. I might be able to give you a different viewpoint on the subject. You could probably do the same thing with me for Madden.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Plus,
No
in my
questions.
brain, if I'm going to pick a quarterback, right, I'm going to pick, fucking Lamar right now.
I mean,
But I'm sure you can give me, plenty of different examples of why Lamar isn't the best quarterback to run in Madden.
I mean, the way I would look at it there is Lamar. Lamar is if you're gonna run. The only time I say he's the best quarterback in Madden, honestly, is if you're gonna run like Wildcat or you plan on running the ball with the quarterback a lot. Like if you plan on doing that, then he's the guy. Like that is the guy. And like it was the same reason. Like okay, they came out with these golden tickets. So the golden tickets are supposed to be the top dog card because it's like 99 everything sort of
Yeah.
deal. Um, but it's not. Not everything is 99. But that's why like people were like, "Well, who's the best quarterback in the game?" I'm like, I'm not being biased by this, but it's RG3. And they're like, "What? He was a golden ticket." I'm like, "Yes." I said because he is able to do things that other quarterbacks can't because of the abilities that you can put on him. You were able to put like you were able to put what was it? Pocket dead eye, and then you were allowed to do like these in route dead eyes, and then you were able to do dashing dead eye and escape artist. So you could actually have him. He could actually be a Lamar Jackson plus like a Tom Brady type of deal. So you were able to run with him if you needed to and throw the ball and run, and you were able to stand in the pocket and throw the ball on like a dot. Like you could put the thing right on somebody. And I was like, that's the reason why this guy is the best quarterback. You can't do that with everybody else. You know what I mean? Like they're either one way or the other. Like basically made to run and take off and do all that stuff with him, like Mahomes, and he had like the cross body dead eye or whatever the hell you want to call it, because he's that guy. He throws across his body and throws dots for 70 yards for some reason.
Yeah.
Not usual, not a typical quarterback, but that that's how I looked at it this year with the quarterbacks in Madden, because he was able to do both. He was able to do all things instead of just one single thing.
Yeah, and see, that's a perfect example of like my rationale because I don't play Madden that often. I watch a couple Madden YouTubers, but my immediate reaction would be like Lamar's the go-to. Like that's the guy you're gonna pick if you're trying to get the best quarterback. But you just gave me the perfect explanation and the perfect example of like why there's another person with RG3 that you want to put in there instead. And
Yeah,
having that educational moment on a game or being able to teach people something about a game that I'm passionate about that they have an interest in, maybe they don't know. That's awesome because it's also a two-way street. Maybe they know something I don't, and this is a learning opportunity they get to share with me as well. Um, I love that aspect. Like it's absolutely phenomenal because where else are you going to be able to have that kind of interaction with somebody in the moment?
yeah. I mean,
I
I agree 100% with you. I love it, and I think that is one of the lost content pieces is the education part of it. And there's so many. I want to say this pertains to a lot of younger kids, the educational part. Um, because some of the older guys, is myself, because I'm way older than you.
You're
uh,
not that much older than
bro, I'll
me.
be
Come on.
36 next month. I'm old.
Okay, I'm 26. That's not even
You're
10
good.
years difference.
It will be next month.
Eh, whatever.
But so it's one of those things is I think it pertains to the older guys, like I mean to the younger group, because like some of the older guys have been playing the game for so long, so they concept the game. Not everybody. Sometimes you do get to educate an older person in the game because they may not have seen the game the way you see it, or the game has never been broken down to them in the way that we can break it down if we spend that amount of time. Like you are a big Tarkov guy. That game,
Yeah,
that game is. I don't know if you guys have not played it in chat, guys. If you guys have not played this game, the game has a learning curve like no other. I think it's beyond the
it is.
curve. The curve is bigger than Minecraft by far.
It is the legitimate toughest game I've ever played. Like harder than Dark Souls. I mean, you name it. It is the most difficult game to play because take the like game aspect of a battle royale, right? Of you're going in there, you have your kit, you die, you lose everything. But in a battle royale,
You get it back.
you get it back. You get that stuff back. Like you respawn again with nothing, you get it back, you copy, you rinse, repeat. It's the same thing, right?
Yeah.
We'll add an economy system onto it, like with you know,
I've played it before, so I
I,
understand. Like I don't understand the game completely, but I understand enough of what you're talking about.
and that's just the basics of the game. Whenever you try to get
I don't
into
even know if
like
that's the basics. That might be just like the tip.
yeah, that's just like how are you going to explain the game? Well, it's a battle royale, but you have an economy and like an inventory system you have to manage all at the same time. Well, let's not even get into the recoil and the attachments, which you take M4, right?
Or how you place everything inside your
Inventory
inventory.
management, inventory
I think
craziest shit in that game.
I
That
think that's
is
got to be probably one of the toughest things of how to lay things inside it so you can get everything out. And what he's
yeah,
saying is getting that. So, kind of give you guys an explanation of getting everything out. So, it's not what he says is as a battle royale where you may earn something, and if you die, you still have that thing when you come out of the game. you still get to use it again. If you die and if you got some good shit, say let's put it in perspective. Say you got it. So we're gonna put it this way: you got a bronze, you got a silver, you got gold, you got platinum, you got diamond. There's good shit. So you get the good shit. You want to get the fuck out the game as quick as possible. Like that's what you got to do. You got to find it. They have extraction points throughout the maps, and the maps aren't these little fucking maps. Like, these
And
are
not no
god
Call of Duty
awful.
maps.
These are god awful huge maps, and there's only certain places on the maps you can get to extract, and you have to extract to get be able to keep the shit, or you have to
Yeah, not
have certain loot boxes to hold the shit. So if you lose it, you still got it. Type
and
of
not
deal.
to mention that there's no HUD. There's no like ammo indicator or Call of Duty reloads. If you shoot 5 rounds out of your mag and you reload, well, that mag still is missing 5 rounds. You now have to take the time and completely repack that son of a bitch. Otherwise, you throw it back in.
You're
You,
five
you're
rounds
still
short.
missing those. You're 5 rounds short. Um, Not to mention if you're playing with a squad of people, it's all communication based. There's no
It
indicator
is.
saying, "Hey, that's my teammate," or
Nope.
"Hey, that's a bad guy." It's just what you see is what you see. There's no HUD. There's none of that. So
Like you have to your awareness though. I think awareness is like probably one of the hugest things to that game is when you're in there, you have to be aware at all times because
and
like it just happens.
and it's funny because there's I've had this conversation with someone and he got so mad at me when I tried to explain this to him.
Probably sounds like
But there's
Shane.
no Shane actually understand when I say this, but there's armor class systems, right?
Yep.
One being like pieces of paper, anything can shoot through it, and 6 being the strongest tier armor in the game, right?
Yep.
But there is a level 2 helmet in the game. So mind
It's
you,
called Escape from Tarkov. It's a PC game.
um it's
Fucking
level
nutty,
2
bro.
armor. So basically it's like cardboard, right? It's not like normal paper, but it's like cardboard. It's not going to stop much, but it also muffles your hearing.
Yeah.
It I would say roughly reduces your ability to hear by about 30% and then makes everything like kind of fuzzy as well. Um, well, whenever the game implements headsets that amplify sound, naturally, like you put them on and it gives you a hearing boost
Yes.
so you can make everything in the game louder or footsteps louder or reduce ambient noise. Obviously, one, it's a shit helmet, and two, it fucks your hearing. Why the hell would you ever want to wear something like that? Because it ain't gonna stop a damn bullet in the game.
No.
Like I'm not kidding. 90 to 95% of the bullets in that game can shoot straight through that helmet. Like it's that bad. And I tried to tell someone how bad of a helmet it is, and he basically ignored me completely and got mad at me. Said I was stupid, didn't know what I was talking about. But whenever, like you said, awareness is such a big aspect of the game, to where the game provides you headphones that amplify your hearing. That's something that I try to teach people of like listening and not running around like a maniac in Call of Duty.
Yeah, you definitely can't
And
run around. Like you have to take your time and move in a strategic way.
I have gotten more kills by slowing down, walking, and listening for footsteps than I have running around playing the game like it's Call of Duty.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
I don't know
absolutely
if you
crazy.
want to be good at that game. There's no way you play it like Call of Duty,
No, no way at all.
unless you're some god tier player and you just don't fucking miss anytime you shoot.
And even then, if you shoot, like I said,
It
every
awares everything. Like it pops up on the map. There ain't none of that. There is none of that
nope.
hiding shit.
And even then, like I said with the armor class systems, right? That's the simple part of it. Because if an armor class says it's class 5, well, you know it's class 5 or 6. It's pretty damn good. But wait until you get the ammo where, for let's say your AK-74s, right? One of the most common guns in the game. I think there's 11 to 13 different ammo types for that one gun, all of which that have different armor penetration values or flesh damage value, which offset. Either it's going to be able to penetrate armor very well, but not do very much damage to flesh, which is like unprotected parts of the body,
Yeah.
or it's going to be the vice versa. It can't shoot through any fucking armor, but if it hits you in an unprotected area, it's going to rip that thing right off real quick.
Yeah.
So then you got to learn that aspect, right? Of like what ammo does what, because the game doesn't give you any stats. the stats were data mined and put onto a file for everyone to look at, but you got to memorize them. So if you're in game and you find, BP versus BS ammo, you got to know immediately which one's better when it comes to like armor pin versus flesh damage or what do
Yeah.
you want.
That's what I try. That's what I'm saying. Like the learning curve of this game is like there's not another game like it, Swizz.
No,
There's not even there's nothing even almost like it. Not even close. This game is on its own platform by itself. Like I remember the first time I ever played the game, I got in and I was like, what the fuck? I
yep.
literally was like, what? Like I think it's kind of what made me not play it as much. Like, cause I'm smart enough to concept games. I can pick up a game and I'm just a gamer, gaming to me. But that was probably the hardest learning curve ever. Like, because you got to know your book bag, you got to know your backpacks, you got to know your ammunition, you got to know because you got to carry water, you got to carry supplies to be able like your guy can dehydrate and die. You got to be able to eat. Like it's literally the real deal. Like it's a real deal game. Like you have to prepare. Like you got to put certain things in your bag for certain things. Like you have to have certain things at all times, and it's
Not
it's it's crazy.
not to mention whenever it comes to like trying to loot, right? Like you said, whatever you uh exit the raid with, you keep, and it goes into your like your inventory, which is your money, all that stuff, right? The gear you have, the items you have, all that stuff. Well, you need to know the value of those items on the market. So one, maybe you need to sell it and get more money so you can buy more things, right? Or two, you need to know like, is this item
Worth taking out.
10,000 10,000 rubles, right? Which is really not that much money in the game, considering the game starts you off with 300 or 400,000 rubles, which is just the currency the game uses. And if the game starts you out at that and you're still considered broke when you're at like 5 million rubles, if it's worth 10,000, it's really not that much in the grand scheme of things. But if you have to decide between this item and something that's worth 50 or 60,000 rubles that's the same size, the game doesn't tell you that. You have to know that when you're in the
uh,
raid of like, you got to understand the economy aspect too to get the most out of it.
yeah, I mean, like if you guys are looking for something to play that is very challenging and it's not gonna end just like that, like it's not gonna be like, oh, I put 40 hours in, game's over. This is more of a game that is a process and to learn it, to get the curve, to understand what he's talking about. And
It's not easy.
I think it's a drive. I think that's probably one of the biggest driving forces towards the game is that it's not an easy game to just flow through. Like if you go in, oh, I'm gonna blow the story mode out of this game, or I'm going in and you win the game just like that. No, like there's guys that are very good at it and they know what they're doing, so they can get you the good shit and they can get you out of the game real quick. But that's not always the fun part. Like you don't want to just go in and get out. Like you have to go in to learn what you're picking up, like he says, with the different ammo. And it's not like a PUBG where it shows you what ammo you're picking up. I mean, it tells you what you're picking up, but it's not telling you, like you said, the statistics of that ammo or the statistic of the gun you picked up. Like you just have to know like what you picked up. Like, and I think that's one of the biggest things because there is so many different elements to the game.
Yeah.
To remember all that is just it's just mind blowing that people can remember most of it. Because I'd have
Yeah.
to sit here and write it down in the book. I'd have to.
There's a lot to it, man. Like, there's so much to that game. Um, and I think, and I've taken a break from Tarkov, which really bums me out because I have such a passion for it. Like I said, I put it like 800 hours into the game between when the first 6 months of this year,
Do you
right?
think now, question for you on this? Do you think the learning curve is do you think that turns people away from it? Do you think it could be a bigger game if the learning curve wasn't as big as it is?
Oh, 100%. 100%. Because take someone like me that, and this is from a streamer when I first, I can't remember who it was. It was a YouTube video I watched, said, you're considered good at this game whenever you have a survival rate of 30% or higher, which means that as your main character, you exfil 3 out of every 10 raids you go into or more on average, right? that's still a shitty survival rate, right? If you're getting out every 3 out of 10 times, that's not good, but that's what he considers you being good. Um, that game is brutal because I think we can
It
all
really is.
understand, even if you play something like Call of Duty, you can understand the importance of map knowledge and like hot zones and hot routes and the
Yeah,
way that the game kind of flows, right?
or your respawn points and where people are gonna if you go one way, where they're
Yeah.
gonna be in the next spot.
Yeah, like even if you play Call of Duty, you understand where all that stuff is and how important it can be into a game. Or take a game with such a large learning curve and that is so like it literally beats the shit out of you if you don't know what you're doing.
Oh yeah,
That
it definitely play like
people
it's a mental game for sure.
people literally will have, survival rates of like 5%. They'll run out of money. They won't have any like equity in their stash, so they won't have any gear or any items to sell. They won't get money, therefore they can't buy guns or ammo or anything. That they just stop playing because it's such a hard game for them to continue that they just lose interest. Um, but I think that's what draws the game in so much is if you and I was there. Mind you, the game started me out when I first got it with 300,000 rubles, and it gives you a baseline of everything. Okay, I was so broke in the game at one point, I couldn't afford a pistol, three mags full of ammo for that pistol, and a backpack, all of which cost like 10,000 rubles. And remember earlier I said 10,000 rubles in this game is like nothing. It's like chump change. I couldn't even afford that in the game. I was so bad when I first started. However, I think the biggest draw to the game that keeps people around is when they hit that low point, because most people will at first, while they're getting beat up by these people that have hundreds and thousands of hours into this game and know what's going on. That once you start to get a feel for it, once you kind of start learning you can't play this game like Call of Duty, you got to play it a little bit more like Assassin's Creedish, sneaking
Yeah,
around,
more strategic.
more strategic, gunfights, and not getting greedy of like, I got to kill, I got like an AK, it's a shit gun, but I have one. Let me get the fuck out so I at least have it. Once you understand that aspect, you start to like grow. You start to get better, learning like, customs is the first map you go to. Maybe I need to stay away from this part of the map because that's where all the thick boys running all these really good guns and good armor go. Maybe I just need to stay all the way the fuck over here away from them, get one or two bot
That's
kills,
me.
take their crappy stuff, and then get the fuck out of Dodge and
That
survive
is
to
so
fight
me
another
right
day.
there. Like I go, like I'm like that's one thing I did learn when I played it. Like I probably couldn't go in the map now and be like, oh, that's where they're at. Me, I'm probably gonna be the dumbass now. I'm dropping right on the motherfuckers, getting lit. But like that was one thing I did learn when I went in. I was like, look, they're over there. I'm dropping way the fuck over here. And then like learning extraction points was like the hardest thing because like I said, guys, these maps that you play on are fucking huge. So like
Yeah.
remembering the maps, and then there's multiple maps too. Like there's more than one map. So
I think there's I think there's 7 right now.
yeah, so
7 or 8.
I think like when I played, there wasn't that many. I think there was like three when I was playing. That's how long ago it's been. Like that was like at the beginning of me streaming. So like, and that's when kind of Tarvog started taking that little turn, and it started going up, and more people started playing it again. Because when I started playing, there wasn't really that many people. Because like so, and I was hitting at that time, so like I had like all the viewers, so like it pushed me to the top of the thing. They're like, and people were popping in like, "Oh, you don't even know what you're doing. How are you carrying these many viewers?" I'm like, "Well, I built my community. Like they follow me wherever I go,"
Yeah.
and it's like I was like, "But if you want to help me learn, I'm that guy." Because I was
Uh,
like it was mind boggling, like, it really is. And I mean, would you like to see anything change in it to have more people play it and want to get involved with that
so
game, or is it just something that you prefer to keep it the way it is?
So I think they can do a little bit more to help out with keeping people in the game because it's a very fun game, but it's so brutal once you start at the very beginning that it, like I said, it drives people away. But the reason is there's no tutorial.
Yeah.
the game doesn't say,
You have to get with some like if you really want to play, you have to get somebody that knows what they're doing. If you don't,
yeah,
you're gonna be so lost. Like I started it out not knowing at all. Like I'm just in there like, yeah, I'm gonna grab this. Didn't realize if I die, I didn't have my shit no more. Like,
yep. So I think if there's some sort of tutorial, right?
mhm.
Um,
to,
that
to
at
explain,
least to explain like the economy and how the small things work, and if you die, you lose all your shit because it doesn't even say that.
no, no,
How
no, it
insurance
doesn't.
in the game works. Even if there's because they do a
Insurance, I
terrible
love it.
job. They do a terrible job at even explaining the offline mode where you can go in and just practice because you load up an offline mode the same way you do a normal one. You just check one different box.
Yeah,
So it's not very intuitive of like, how do I get better at this game without actually, like fucking myself at the same time? Um, I think if they did that, but along with it, stop making so many stupid changes um
I feel like every
out of
game
the
is
blue.
doing that though. I think every game, like every developers, they're like they're on this dumb mode. Like they hit like a dumb button. All of them have it,
So
and they all do it at the same time. Like every game, I feel is on that dumb, like is on a dumb position right now. Like Fortnite now is wild compared to what it was back in like the real season 2, season 3, season 1, like when the game was fucking phenomenal and it had 150,000 people watching it all the time. And then the same thing with Call of Duty is they keep changing up playlists for
yep.
what fucking reason, I don't know. It makes no sense. So they're changing up the playlist. They're taking things away. They don't know if they want to have threes on plunder. They want to have four on plunder. They don't want to have solos, duos, triples, and quads in Warzone, or if they want to have the damn thing sitting at, oh, let's play the real Warzone with no gulag, and if you die, you die.
I
Like,
think the dumbest change that they made, right? Like I said, the game is hard to make money in, you know, because yeah, the game starts out with 300k rubles. You're still broke when you are at 5 mil, right? You're still considered broke when you're at 5 million. Well, once you progress through your hideout, which is kind of like your base of operations that you can just go and like craft things and upgrade it to earn money throughout the game, right? You could eventually get a Bitcoin mining rig. And as you upgrade it, it gives you a Bitcoin for X amount of hours that it's running. But a Bitcoin, whenever I was playing a couple months back, was worth 145k. So I could get one of those whenever I have mine all the way up because there's a wipe system where it wipes all your progress and you start over from scratch. It's actually a great thing. It sounds dumb. Just bear with me. It's great. But it was going for like 145k, and you can get one at maximum every 5 hours if it's upgraded all the way, right? Um, Still, that's not much money when you're still considered broke at 5 million rubles. 145k is still it's a good bit, but it's not outlandish amount, right? But for some reason, one of the latest updates in the game reduced that sell price from like 145,000 to closer to 110, 115,000,
oof,
taking away 30k per item that you would get, which isn't bad if you're changing the entire market. However, the buy prices from that same vendor, they didn't touch. So you would still buy things at the same price, but when you try to turn around and sell some of these, pricier things like
losing your
Bitcoins,
money.
you reduce the price in which I can sell them, making it even harder for me to get money in a game that's already hard enough. And mind you, I think my survival rate right now is a 42%, so above average.
Oh, so you're good.
According to that streamer, yes, I'm good. Am I great? Fuck no, but I'm better than average at the game surviving. And I think last time I checked, I had like 1.3 mil. I'm good at the game. I'm able to get out most of the time. Well, 4 out of 10 times. That's still good for Tarkov. Um, and I'm still at a very low amount of money, but now you're making a way for me to get money even harder and not reducing the prices of the overall economy. Why? Why make that change? It doesn't make any logical sense. Besides, you just want people to not have more money in the game for no reason.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way. Is because like EA did that. Like we all know, I'm mainly a streamer of Madden. That's my game. I love the game. Regardless of how bad it is, I deal with the game. I adapt to it and I play the game. And they cut they decided this year, I guess with the COVID stuff going on and all that, they decided to cut content 2 months early. So right now I'm sitting with nothing to do with Madden besides like
Yep.
CFM games, which is like franchise side of the games that we play other users and stuff like that and build the teams. So it was like one of those things. I'm like, why do you stop? Like there was so much they could have done yet. Like they could have easily done like power ups and gave all these other guys their 99 cards and all that. And I mean, there was stuff left undone that they could have done just to give us something until 21 comes out. So now we're sitting with nothing. Like
Yeah.
there's no content. Like I'm like, why do that to the people that are promoting your game for free? They are putting out free content for you guys. They're not making no money from it. You guys are
Yep.
banking all the money, but you're going to take the content away
So I
for
think
two
this is
months
a
early. Like I was blown away by that. I couldn't believe they did it.
so I think your audience will understand this more. And correct me if I'm wrong here, but whenever you have the ability in Madden to trade in a player for training points, right?
Yes.
And then training, you can upgrade other players on your roster using training, right?
Yes. Yep.
Imagine if the trade-in value for characters and their training points was reduced by 30%, but it costs just as much training to upgrade someone else.
Well, they did something like that with some of the programs they were doing. Like they had come out with certain like things with where like you could re-roll for stuff. So like you could take your training and it might have been like 5,000 training just to roll one time and the hopes of hitting a big card like a 97 or a 98. But it was probably one of the worst re-rolls because even you had to hit over like a 93, I think, to even make your coin, like to make that training back. So it was, I mean, they did a couple things that were pretty crazy. And then once we all figured out a way during like the Easter program, we found out a way to make some serious like training. Like they didn't like it too much,
Yeah.
and they put a stop to it real quick. Like it was like, oh shit, because we were eating, like we were all eating. Everybody that knew how to do the process was making serious training and making serious coin. Like we were all rocking over 1 million coins and all that. Like we had some people were stacked even higher. Like I know a person that was like 19 had 19 million coins this year because of like that program and flipping the market and everything. Like the EA was like, nope, done. They
And
stopped it.
Tarkov even did one here. Um, that's really annoying. It used to be whatever that you had, right? You could put on the open marketplace for anyone to buy. Pretty simple, right? Well, they now
So kind of like
changed
an
it.
auction house or
Yeah, just like an auction house. Whatever
okay.
you had, you could just put it up for a given price and people could buy it. Pretty simple, right? Well, they changed it to where only items that are found in raid now can be sold
Oh.
on the market. So imagine
So
the
like
only
so what you're
cards.
saying is like as soon as you come out, you have to put it on the market.
Yeah, so
Or
imagine the only cards you could sell in Madden are cards you get from a pack but never put on your roster,
oh.
or
So
cards
you
that you
can't
get
put
from
it
doing events.
so like literally you can't come out and put it in your inventory. You have to put it straight to the market. They
The
can never touch
moment
it.
the moment that I take something from my stash, my inventory,
Hmm.
into a raid, it loses its found in raid status, which means I can no longer put it up on the market. I can sell it to the
Oh.
in-game vendors, but they're going to give
Okay.
you a tenth of a price of what the market would buy something.
Yeah.
But imagine that the only cards you can sell in Madden are the ones you get from opening packs or the ones you get as a reward for beating, a task or completing a set or
Yeah.
something like that.
Gotcha.
Those are the only cards that you can put on the market. That's exactly what Escape from Tarkov did 2 months ago, which isn't a big deal until I realized that I killed someone, right? That had the best ammo for that gun, which, mind you, when I say that, you know, uh, 10,000 rubles or something like that, that's nothing, right? not a big amount of money. But the bullet he was using was selling for 1,300 rubles a round. A single bullet
A round,
was
dude.
1,300 a round, and I got 160 rounds from this guy.
Jesus
So,
mighty.
like, do some math.
Why do you bring that into the game? Why would you bring 160 rounds of that into the game?
So,
You,
to give you an idea, if I sold those bullets that I got from that guy, right,
Mhm.
it would have been 208,000 rubles just in bullets alone.
Jesus.
That's a good amount of money, like
Yeah,
just for bullets.
that's
Well,
crazy.
guess what?
That's probably a pretty. That's probably a pretty crazy price.
Yeah, like that's about as high as you can get for a bullet. It's like 1,500 a round. I think I've seen one for 1,700 a round. But like you're getting up there. When it's 1,000 rubles or higher, that's really expensive.
Yeah,
Because you think about it, when you're buying rounds, you don't buy 30 of them at a time unless it's like a shotgun.
yeah,
You buy, 2 to 3, 400 at a time because that's a gun you're probably going to use over and over again. You're going to need to shoot those bullets, right?
100%.
Um, well, because he brought that ammo into a raid and I killed him and got it off his body, that ammo was no longer found in raid. I couldn't sell it on the market for that price anymore.
See, that's a dumb play because he brought it in, so it's still to you it should still be a raid item because you
It
got it
should
out
still
of a
be
raid.
found in raid. Yeah.
Yeah. See, they
And
they,
no,
they kind of do that with Madden. Like, say if you trade a card across a block, it can no longer be auctionable. The only thing you could do is sell it for training. Which
yeah, kind of
that,
the same thing.
and the only way, but they do give you the stipulation if you trade it back to for the same card that you traded for, it's still auctionable.
Like, but why make that change though? Like,
I mean, that to me doesn't make sense either. I mean, like, because even if he brought it in, yeah, he shouldn't be okay. So maybe he can't sell it, but if
but I
you
killed the guy.
but you kill him, then it should still be a raid item for you.
And that's how I thought it was until it happened to me where I had that much ammo,
Yeah, see, that's where
200K
I
worth of
click out the
ammo on
game
the
and I'm
board.
done for the night.
Yeah, and I was so frustrated because then I'm just like, it makes sense now because I have one or two options. Either I can sell this to a vendor for like 200 rubles around now, which is why would the hell would I do that?
Yeah,
Um, or I can just go out and use it in the next raid where I use that gun that shoots that ammo. Like at that point, I'm just going to use it because I'm not going to sell it for that cheap of a price. No,
right.
it's expensive. I'm going to at least go out and see what I can do with it because fuck it,
Yeah,
why not?
that's kind of how it happened, like with Madden too, is because like so these golden tickets are supposed to be rare. Not everybody's supposed to have them, and they did a solo where if you beat the solos and blah blah, you get a free golden ticket. So then it like crashed the market. It crashed the auction house. So like people were getting like 98 overalls for like 40K. I'm like, bro,
Which is nothing.
I'm not selling a 98. I don't care how bad this market is. I'll just hold these cards. And like if I get bored, I'll just throw them in this training and go do rerolls or something.
Yeah.
And like I was like, there's no way I sell this card for 40K. It's a 98 overall. Like, and it did it too, like and it also crashed like the golden tickets because everybody was getting certain players. And so the golden tickets lost their value. If you pulled them, they were supposed to make you big money. That they're the rare card. Like they're supposed to make you the millions, the million coins, and
Yeah,
put
it's
you in a
sad that
status that you don't have. You know what I mean? Like,
it's sad that if I were to pick up Madden today, right?
or you could
I could
build
have I could
you could build a 99 team for 500K.
yeah, I could probably go in there right now within 10 hours of gameplay, have, a 95 overall team without even trying.
Easy,
Like
easy right now.
without even sweating, without even giving a damn, I could probably lose every game and still end up getting a 95 overall team in 10
Yeah,
hours.
it probably wouldn't even take you that long. The game is pretty much, it's sad that EA gave up on it as much as they did, and like I said, it's still my favorite game. I'm gonna play it. It doesn't matter how bad and how much I bitch about the game. I'm still gonna play the game, my game. But it's one of those things. Is like I feel is some of these game developers they don't have a competition behind them, so there's no push.
Yeah.
And I think that really kills the games. I really think it does. Like I was kind of pissed that, much as I love Madden, I was kind of pissed that 2K didn't even try to get their hands on the license. Like they didn't try to even put money out to get the license for it. Like, do I think they're gonna make a better game than Madden? No. Do I think they could give it a good push and put some competition back in the game? 100%. And it's just like Fortnite. There's nothing out there that plays with Fortnite. Fortnite was its own game, and Apex tried to come in and do its thing and push Fortnite. And we all thought it was gonna push Fortnite. We all thought it was gonna be the push that Fortnite was gonna need to keep making a quality game.
For
And
about 2 months, it was.
and now it's just like these game developers. It just I feel as they're fine with where they lie, and as long as they're making money, they don't care. Like
Yeah.
they make money off the battle passes. They're making they make ridiculous money off the battle passes. And I think what happened to Fortnite is they really geared to the younger audience. Like when that game first came out, I loved it. It was probably one of the funnest games to play. But it geared so much to the younger people because where the money was. I mean, we
And
all know
see,
that the kids are upstairs. Like my kids do it all. My middle child, she's a Fortnite junkie. She's all, can I get V bucks? Can I get V bucks? Can I get V bucks? And that's where it's at. Like it really lies. It's like, oh, we don't really need to make a quality game anymore. We just put it out to these little kids that love the game and are gonna play it and gonna buy all these awesome skins that we put out. And I'm just like, bro, where is the quality at the game at? Like where did this game lose its momentum? And I feel it's like that's where it is that these games don't have competition behind them, so they lose a lot of momentum and a lot of opportunity to be great games. Like I mean, you talked about games like
yeah,
Zelda, Zelda, Mario. These games were pushed back then. You know what I mean? Because you had Sonic pushing Mario,
yeah.
or
Now,
Mario was out before Sonic. But when Sonic came into the game, it pushed Mario to figure out what's the next thing we could do, and boom, you get Mario Kart. You know what I mean? Like Donkey
and
Kong and games like that. You had games pushing each other's barriers. Like Sonic got better. Sonic brought Tails into the game. So you had Sonic and Tails. So what's Mario do? They got the princess, they got Koopa, they got everybody coming into these games. And I think it was a great marketing tool. Everybody ate back then. Sega
yeah,
ate, Nintendo ate. Now it's so, oh well, if we're eating, you're not allowed to eat either. You know what I mean? Like
mhm.
get the goddamn competition back in the gaming market and watch these games become fantastic. Like honestly, I don't think there's a game that's been made that will ever live up and have that legend status like those games from back in the day, like Zeldas, the Mario's, the Sonics, Double Dragon, Ninja Turtles when it first came out.
God,
Like
the
those,
old Star Wars
yeah, like
games,
that's what I'm
like
saying. Like those games hold a value still today. And
there's a reason we talk about them.
I'm a 36-year-old man talking about a game that I played as a kid that's still relevant. If you say, "Hey, let's go play Mario," are we gonna sit here and go, "No, no, we're gonna get up and go play
I'm
Mario"?
I'm gonna be like, all right, let me go grab a fucking beer and we're gonna go take it out on the Mario Kart racetrack real quick.
Exactly.
Let's do this.
That's what I'm saying. Like those games, I don't think exist anymore. I don't
No,
think you'll ever
and
see that kind of competition and level of gaming anymore.
I hate it because think about how similar all these games are that I'm gonna list. Right? You have Warzone, you got Fortnite, you got PUBG. Um, what else? Crucible,
Apex.
Apex. Right? All these games are so similar to each other, but they all try to find their own little niche. Like this
Yeah.
is who we are,
Like you
and
got
they don't try
Apex
to
is
push each
futuristic.
other.
Yeah, Apex has got like the futuristic thing going on. You have PUBG's got the more realistic thing to COD. Like COD's not as realistic. It's a little off from I think from where PUBG
But they have the
sits.
gulag.
Yeah, I mean, if you get shot in battle, you fucking die. You don't come back.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, so I mean, to a standpoint, streamer wise, it's fantastic to have the gulag because you're not sitting there waiting. You know what I mean? So it makes the game able to be streamed. You know what I mean? You get to play and you're not waiting because sometimes that kills kind of kills the vibe sometimes in the stream if you're not a god at the game. You don't hold 35,000 fucking people every stream.
Yeah.
Um, it can kill like it can literally kill your stream if you can't stay alive long enough. You know what I mean? So that part of it, I kind of dig as a streamer, but I don't dig as a player, if that makes sense.
I think the biggest thing here is besides like Mario Kart or like Smash, right? Think back to all your greatest um memories of playing video games. How come 95% of them are single player games? Why is it that's what we like go back to? The
Well, I
my
mean,
favorite games
even
that I've ever played that I have the best like fondest memories of, GoldenEye, any Zelda game, the
like see,
Witcher series, Mass Effect, like all these are single player games, and there's a reason that they're so good.
but
Versus,
honestly, I mean, like, I think, I think that's what makes like Mario Kart and all that stand out, man. That was like you can get your buddies together, you can plug
yeah,
four controllers into a damn system, and you just rip it, bro. Like, who's gonna be the guy that comes out on top playing Mario Kart? You know what I mean? And and I think the biggest thing that we miss in games now is that they were fun.
yeah, like that's what I'm getting at. Of
They were
all the
extremely fun. Now
and
you're fucking goddamn son of a bitch. This fucking goddamn game controllers bouncing off the floor. Like, you know what I mean?
exactly,
Like
exactly. That's why, like right now in a gaming slump, like Tarkov is high stress all the time, right?
I think anything to do with a strategy, like even like battlefields, CODs, like when you're in the war zone, like you get that one guy that thinks he's just fucking God,
He
and
thinks
he's
he's the next scump.
yeah, like he's like, oh, we're gonna rotate this way, we're gonna rotate that way, and or they get aggressive. They may be better at the game than you because they play Warzone nonstop, and then they're just like they get pissed if you don't rotate right with them. I'm like, bro, look, I'm playing for fun. Like, if you want to
That's
go play the serious mode, I'm probably not that dude.
that's why I've jumped over to like Minecraft recently. The game's chill, man. Like I can go on and just have fun building something, or I can go explore. Like there's so many small little things that I'm not stressed out about when it comes to Minecraft because you can be, like I said earlier, you can be the overworld player, like the majority of them are, or you can be the real like technical guy that gets into these really cool builds or uses redstone and gets all kinds of like machinery things going. There's no wrong way to play the game. There's so many different like niches you can fall into. That's why I like it. It's so chill and so relaxed compared to what I've normally been doing with shooters.
And that's like, I think that's been my thing is like with Madden is like it's dead. It's dead to the world. Like there's no like it's doo doo right now. And so it's like one of those things. It's like for me, it's been a struggle trying to find something to play. Uh,
So
because
jump on over to Minecraft. I'll teach you a thing or two.
I don't know if I can do it. My kids had the game. They've been asking me. They're like, "Dad, come on, let's go." Like I'm like, no. I was like, it might pique my interest for a good 5 minutes, and then I'll be done with it. But like, I've been doing a lot of different things. Like, I mean, I've been playing COD, but now I'm done with my battle pass, so now I'm bored with COD. Unless I play
Yep.
Plunder. I love Plunder. I love that game mode. Like that game mode is so fun with me because it's nonstop action. Like you die, you come back, and it doesn't stop. Like you can sit there and be in battles left and right. And I think that's where Warzone doesn't pique my interest anymore is because you can run that whole map and not see anybody. And like I'm like, "Bro, how does somebody watch this?" Like I kind of keep bringing myself back to people watching me. It's like, do they want high action? Are they really going to be in a plunder because plunder like it's all about getting the money, or
Yep.
are they going to be intrigued by it because it's got a lot of action and you're constantly battling for who's going to be the top dog with all the money and you're going to be killing people left and right? Or do they
And see,
really want to watch a not top tier person go run around a goddamn battlefield map and I may not see anybody?
that was my problem with Warzone is I like if I'm playing a battle royale, I think we all can agree if I'm going to go in, my objective is to win, right?
Yeah, that's
That's the
me. I'm
point of
strategic as shit. Like I'm
like
boring to
let's go in
watch.
there. Well, the group of friends that wanted me to play with them all the time with it, were trying to be over strategic on how they took fights, right? Just like, oh, there's a fight, we need to rotate around instead of taking it, or there's a lot of people here, we need to rotate around this and not like try to push in or take fights. We need to do contracts, we need to get money. And one thing that always stuck out to me about like shooters, is something Shroud said probably in like 2010, 2011, like years ago, right? When actually it wasn't even that long. It's when PUBG first dropped, actually. When was that?
PUBG.
Like 2014?
I don't know, but he's a PUBG god.
But he straight up said that if you're going to spend the entire time in a battle royale avoiding fights and trying to make it to the end, you're going to be at a disadvantage once you reach that like 1v1 squad or 1v1 person on person fight at the end for the win, because chances are the other person, while you have 0 kills or 1 kill, him or his team are going to have a handful. They're going to have more ammo. They're going to have the guns they want with the attachments they want. If you're talking Warzone, they're going to have the money they want and the loadouts they want with the perks and everything compared to you. They're also going to be constantly in those fights and warmed up while you've spent the entire game, you know, crawling around, hiding in bushes and not keeping to that same pace.
Yeah.
So they're going to outshoot you and outplay you every time. Um, I take that to heart when I'm playing a battle royale. If there's a fight right in front of me, let's go get it, because they
Third
got money.
party.
If you want, yeah, if you guys are trying to go get contracts to get money, guess what? There's a team right in front of us. I guarantee they got money. Let's just kill them and take theirs real quick. That seems like a lot easier and a lot quicker to me.
Yeah, and I mean,
Um,
like that. If you look at it that way too, is like if they're fighting another group, their health is going to be low. Everything's
yep.
going to be low. Like you're going to be beat the fuck up, and like you can go in there and you guys are 100% health. They don't know you're coming because they're too engaged in what they're doing. You just get the kills and get the hell out.
Yeah, it's not that hard. And the guys that I were playing with, while they weren't bad at the game, their mindset was contracts. Let's go for contracts to get our money. Or there's a fight here. We need to make sure we rotate around it and not take it. Or we know there's people here. And then you have me, who I'm not a great sniper, but give me 1 or 2 open shots. I guarantee I'm going to at least get one of those guys down or shoot them in the head or like crack their armor, right? Well, if I'm sniping a guy and there's one dude down and I cracked his armor, like, why are we still standing here? Let's fucking go. Like,
Yeah,
let's get
like I
this
mean,
real quick.
but I think it's one of those things too. Is you got to find your group. You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
got to kind like everybody plays differently. Like so, like one of my guys. I don't know if you know H Crip, but he's a guy. He goes like he's a pusher. Like he's go, let's go, let's go. When I play Fortnite, I don't build, so I play a little bit more strategic. I don't play as fast because I don't build. Like I'm not. I play on PC with Fortnite. I can't stand a controller of Fortnite. So that's like one of the main games I really do play on PC. And I hate building. Like I hate it with a passion. Like I'm like, why is this even in a fucking game? So I play strategic. Like I'll still come out that game with 8 or 9 kills playing strategic. Like I know when to go. Like you know what I mean? Like it's one of those things.
Yeah.
If you play strategic, you know when you can jump in a fight. You know when you can go, and you know who not to fight. You know what I mean? Like if I see somebody that takes 2 seconds and spins and builds a mansion in front of me, I'm good. I'm not fighting that person. Like I'm going around the other side because I can't build with this guy. This guy's gonna smoke me in a build, and I'm gonna die. Or if I see that person building, I'll sit off and I'll snipe them. Like you know what I mean? Like
Yep.
on that game, I can snipe. Like that's the first game I've ever sniped in my life. First game I've ever sniped in. I've never sniped in a Call of Duty game in my life.
Oh,
Never
I hate sniping
nothing.
in COD.
But I've never done it. Like I've never picked up a sniper. It was like none of my thing. I always like when I run on like if I run on COD right now, we have a sniper for our team. And that guy snipes. That's all he does. And that's Raging Fox. That dude is a fucking god. Like quick scoping, fucking monster. Like I say,
I've
and
never
I
been
hate.
able to quick scope.
Well, I hate it because the guy doesn't get like he doesn't get seen a lot. You know what I mean? And that's the
Yeah.
stuff that kind of pisses me off. Is like this dude's a fucking cannon. Like I guarantee he can keep up with a lot of top people with quick scoping. Like he just does it with ease. Like it's the great. I sat there and watched him do it. I'm like, dude, how? Like how do you pop your gun that quick and just boop? And you hit every time. Like almost hits every time. He barely misses. I'm just like, dude, how the fuck is that even possible in a game? And he like, I mean, and like I said, if he's with me and I'm running with him, I don't bring a sniper with me. I
Yeah.
won't because I like his guy's got it. Like he's gonna be sniping. He's not gonna miss. Like he's gonna hit these guys. He got the trajectories down. He's got the drops down. He's got everything down, and like he knows how each sniper reacts. Like that's what he does. Like that's his shit. You know what I mean? So I'm just give me AR and give me something fast behind it. Like I'll put in like a little MP7 or something, you know, in my second loadout, something fast. Like and that way, if I'm getting shot at, I can just flip and done. But like that's
Yes.
I'm more
I
of an in your face type of guy.
I I run with a MP7 and a sniper, and it's one of those of I kind of use my sniper to um I wouldn't say like recon based, but to get an idea where people are at, because I'm one of those little bitches that uses a thermal and Warzone. It's fine. I'll admit it. I'm a bitch. I use a fucking thermal. Hate me. I don't care.
Yo,
Um,
like that's
but
another thing is what people bitch about you using something for an advantage, right?
mhm,
It's in the game for a reason.
yep,
If he choose, like, I don't ever get mad at nobody. You know what I mean? If that's what you choose and that's what you need to be better at the game, so be it. Like that's like go get yours. You know what I mean? Like if you're on my team and it makes you better, fuck yeah, put a bitch on all your guns. I don't care what you do. You know what I mean? Like do whatever makes you play better. That's all that matters to me.
but once I get one or two shots with my sniper on, right? You bet your ass if I have the ability, I am going to W key straight for those people, and I'm going to start murking them because I know if I just cracked a dude's armor, guess what? It might still be 3-on-3. Excuse me. But one of their guys, he's hurting. He doesn't feel too good.
Yeah.
The problem is, though, when I say I crack someone, I need my entire team to push up with me because that's now a 1v3 fight if they don't, and I'm going to get fucking smoked real quick.
Yeah. I mean, what we're like that's what I said. Like like the team that I usually run with, we all have our own special like thing we do. If we're in Warzone, like I said, Fox is our sniper, right? And uh we have we have me, like I said, I'll if like sometimes like I'm different. Like Warzone to Plunder is different for me. Like if I play Plunder, I'm running AR and I'm running a sniper. Just because you there's so much going on and you can snipe people. I think you can snipe people a little bit easier in that because people are constantly moving because they have to grab money. You know what I mean? And they have to Warzone. People aren't always moving, so
Yeah.
I'm like, look, okay, well I'd rather leave that to Fox because he's got, like I said, he got the trajectories down, he's got the drops down, no matter where he's at in the map. He got that. I'm gonna run a different loadout. I'm gonna play a little bit differently. Like I'll be the guy that's thinking strategically, and like our guy felony gaming, he'll be the one. He'll run right in. Like he's I'm going in slaughtering whatever's in front of me type of guy. So I'll be the guy like I'll be watching where he's at, paying attention if anybody else is creeping in. Like I'm like recon type of dude. Like I'm sitting here spying, looking. I'll climb up on the roof, look and see, hey, like, well, this guy's creeping here. And I'll be like, oh, you got somebody coming from your right, you got somebody coming from your left, letting them know that
Yeah.
people are creeping in on them. And then I'll be sitting, I'll either try, if I have my sniper on me, I'll try to snipe from there and try to keep that guy off of him while he's taking on the battle in there. So it's like it's fun to see how everybody plays differently. And then you got those guys that just like they're all for it. They're just like they don't care. They don't care if they win. They're just going in and getting the kills. Those
Yeah.
guys annoy the fuck out of me.
See, in those type of gunfights, like I said, I push, right? I'm very like him. I just go for it. But I go what I call full crackhead mode of like I'll come straight up onto someone, I'll murk you, I'll throw a nade or I'll throw attack, I'll slide, I'll displace, I'll flank around you, get off a few shots, I'll jump in the window, I'll flank through the house. I just won't stop moving and I'm always changing the angle in which I'm shooting at you. So you think I'm one place. In reality, I'm trying to get you to look in the wrong way so now I can shoot you in the side. from a different angle completely.
Yeah.
Um, and so I go full crackhead of like I don't stand still and I don't post up and I don't just ADS to that one spot. If I get a shot on you, well, guess what? I'm not going to be where I shot at you last. I'm going to go full crackhead and start running circles
Yep.
around
Yep.
you.
Yep. They're the
Um,
best because then you see them start spinning in circles, looking, and they don't know where it came from.
and if I have someone on my team that's like you, standing back a little bit, sniping, but hopefully you got that angle covered and he opens up his entire body to you. You just put him down
Yeah.
real quick.
I mean,
But I love when that happens.
it's funny because like when a lot of people don't expect that. Usually you'll see everybody running together, or there'll be guy pushing left, the guy pushing right, and guy pushing middle on some of it, and like they don't expect somebody to push and like stop on top of it and like recon. And then you have the next person on they'll wrap around and they'll be on the backside and they'll kind of like pinch you in that little hole.
Yep.
And like you'll get sniped from one angle and then you'll hear the other shot come from the other angle. You'll be like, what the hell is going on? And you'll think it's just one guy moving around. And like some people never concept, hey, there's two guys that are just like reconning the area, protecting this other guy rushing.
Yep. It's crazy, man. And I think it's funny because I have one guy like that I can play with in Tarkov, which imagine that kind of like crackhead mentality, but you have someone that thinks the same way you do,
Mhm.
but in Escape from Tarkov. That is such a deadly combo. And there's one person I've played with. His name's Mr. Shady. I don't know if you know him or not.
No, I don't know him. I don't think I ever met him.
He's actually the co-owner of the Minecraft server.
Okay, okay.
that
Yeah,
I'm in.
I think I talked to him actually. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, you did. Him and I have played so many hours. I would say 500 hours of Tarkov together to where if we have a conflict and I go left, he immediately goes right. Or we'll bounce off each other. And if we're in like tight corridor, we'll go and we'll just play off each other's movements. We don't even have to really say anything anymore because we know how each one of us is going to react.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy when you get to that stage with somebody, and that's like how I am with my guys, like Fox and all them. I've played so much with them that it's like I don't have to say nothing. I know where he's at. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like I know what Fox is doing. Fox is behind us. I know he's watching every step of our way, and he's not too far off. Like if we have to if we're in trouble, he can drop down in and hang out with us. You know what I mean? That's it's crazy how you get like that with somebody where you don't have to say nothing. You just move.
Yeah. And you never think you're going to get to that point. But whenever you play so much of a single game with someone where something happens, conflict starts to happen, a battle or fight, whatever. And instinctively, like if someone's at point, the first person in line, and he moves one direction, you immediately do something opposite. But like I go left, you go right, but we know that we're now pinching that same person. Or I have an angle, right? And he's in a fight with me. You flank whatever way you think's right. That way you can get the shot and you get the kill. It's crazy having that much trust in someone and knowing that they're just going to play off your movements instinctively. I never thought that was possible in a game until me and Mr. Shady played Tarkov for all those hours, and now that's what we do.
Yeah, it's kind of it's kind of amazing, but it's also a fun thing to see happen.
Yeah, it's
So,
really cool.
I'm gonna see if the chat has any questions for you. So, chat, if you guys have any questions for my guy Chase, now is the time you can pop them. Pop any questions for him. I mean, like if he wants to answer, he'll answer. If not, and not. I mean, it's all on his
I'm an open book, man. If you ask, I'm probably going to answer it. I don't care. What you see, and like I said, you've known me for 3 years now, Smee. Literally, what you see is what you get. I don't try to be fake. I don't try to cover stuff up. It's just me.
Let's see if chat has anything for you. I know somebody's got something for you.
Oh, there has to be. I know we had some good questions earlier.
But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. Like it's like I just wish games would push themselves like they used to.
Yeah, man. Like right now, I'm in such a slump with not with gaming in general, but like what to play. Because the only game that I have an interest in that I can't wait for and I'm super excited to play is Cyberpunk 2077.
Is it ever gonna come out? Is the question.
I'm praying first. I think it's September is when they pushed it back. but
But I
they
mean, it's been pushed back what 4 times now, 5 times.
so I have a little bit of hope that it's coming out when they said it was because CD Project Red um is the same company that did the Witcher series. So one, they're an amazing company.
Yeah, they're one company I do love. Like, I mean, because I think that you're gonna hit where I'm gonna talk about now is with that company is they give a fuck about what they put out.
Yeah.
They
And
really do. Because like I said, The Witcher, I never really got to see it. I don't know if it came out on PC or not, but have been able to see it like on a regular PS4. And I'm not like I don't know if I've ever seen it on like a pro in like a 4K standpoint,
yeah,
but just on those on that platform I have seen it on, like the graphics to that game and the dialogue to that game is
amazing.
outstanding. Like it's not my type of game to play, but I've watched the shit out of it. Like I don't know if I'd play it, but that thing is ridiculous. Okay, he said, Swizzle asked, have you played Minecraft Dungeons? If so, what are your thoughts?
I haven't played Minecraft Dungeons. I'm fairly new to Minecraft in general. I've only been playing it for about 2 months now. Um, just under 2 months. But from what I can gather, it looks like a dungeon crawler, kind of like a reskin Diablo. Um, but with Minecraft aspects to it. Of course, it's Minecraft Dungeons. Unfortunately, I've never been that big into like Diablo style dungeon crawlers. However, it looks phenomenal. It's a beautiful game. And if that's the kind of game you're for, I I say go for it. But if it's anything close to Minecraft, like vanilla Minecraft, I'd probably give it a shot. I just haven't yet because I'm in learning vanilla.
So Cyberpunk is supposed to come out November 19th.
All right.
What
Well,
was
you
just
bet
put
your
in the
ass.
chat?
You bet your ass I'm going to be playing
And
that.
The Witcher is on PC. Nice
I
to
actually
know.
think I have it.
I want to see. I'd love to see that on PC. I'd love to see how deep in depth the graphics are on PC because it's better than a regular PS4 by far.
Oh,
But
100%.
like I said, that's a crazy game. Like I mean, if anybody has ever, I don't know how many people have watched it or seen it. Like I said, it's not my type of game that I'd play. I don't think, but for some reason, I'm very drawn into that damn game. Watching it, like I've sat and watched hours upon hours of the game, just sat here at the computer, and I won't even realize I'm like locked in on this game, and I'm like, I look down, I'm like, fuck.
But actually,
I'm
back to what I was
late.
getting at. The reason I think Cyberpunk's coming out when it is because according to the latest, when CD Projekt Red postponed it this last time, according to them, it was because the game was finished, but it wasn't polished enough to meet their standards, so they pushed it back another 6 months
So
to
you think
polish the game.
so? Polishing the game, is that like a more optimized game? Are you thinking,
From
or?
my understanding of like,
I mean, that's
it,
one thing I do love. Like I said, I love about the company. Um, is that they care to optimize it and make sure it's great for everybody to run. They want you to run that damn thing on ultra settings on PC. They want it at the highest standards, and they want you to be able to do it without having to do very much changing of the game. Like unlike Ubisoft, God help us all. Their games are not very optimized, especially like the Tom Clancy series. It is
they're not very
god
optimized.
god awful optimization. Dude, I have a very powerful PC. Like this is the difference between these two things. I run a 2070. I run I have not opened a PC game yet. Like I have not put a Tom Clancy game on the I just switched to the i9 9900K processor. So it hasn't
Jealous.
I haven't put a Tom Clancy game on that yet, but I know when I had the 8700K, I had to like down my graphics to make it not lag, not be all like choppy and weird. Um, and then like I have 32 gigs of RAM at 3200 hertz. Like I have the
You
new,
got it. You got a good PC, bud.
yeah. I mean, well, we just put a new board in it too. We have the new, well, I don't know how new it is, but the board's brand new. It's a Asus Z90 E gaming.
Yeah.
So like the thing I shouldn't have to change settings.
No, you shouldn't.
I have a stupid crazy internet. Like I have a gig up and a gig down. No reason I should ever have to change my my specs on my games. And that's the difference between Ubisoft and the company he's talking about. Like they're gonna optimize it. They literally will not put a game out until they feel it's where everybody or it's optimized. They hold themselves to a very high standard, and that's why their games sell so great and their games look immaculate. Like,
Yeah,
I
and
mean, beautiful games.
one thing that really excites me about Cyberpunk, and we'll see how true this is, so if it serves the test of time or not. But they said all DLCs for Cyberpunk 2077 are going to be free for everyone because they want
Okay,
everyone to experience this same game. And if you pay $60, they want you to have the same experience as someone else that paid $60. That includes DLC. So when they come out with them, which they are, they're going to be free of charge for everyone because they want everyone to have that same
yeah,
experience.
and I think that
We'll
was a
see how that actually goes.
yeah. I
But
mean, that was kind of like the COD thing. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, I mean, that game kills me. It kills me on PC itself. Is like you have to do all the optimizing yourself again on that game, and the fucking game is 200 gigs. Why should you have to optimize it yourself?
it doesn't make any fucking sense.
Dude, like I think that and Fortnite are the only two things on my 970 Evo. The only things because that game is so big, I can't put anything else there.
Yeah. I actually heard a rumor conspiracy theory about that if you want to hear it.
I'm down. Give me it.
Uh so
I
I
love
have
this interesting things.
so disclaimer, I have no actual information to back this up. So don't take it with like any validity, but it makes perfect fucking sense that the reason the game is like 250 gigs is so you actually would have to uninstall other developers' games to download COD. So that's the only game that would be installed you can play.
I can see that point. Because I
I
tell
can
you
see
what,
it with that.
it fucking like a 200 like it's mind blowing that you have a 200 gig game on a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox. Like that
But
kind of
there's
gig is on a PC because of how quality the graphics are and how much they need to be able to push out that kind of stuff. I get that. But when you're talking 200 gigs on a fucking console, are you serious?
that's easily a fifth to a quarter of the storage space that you have overall. Like
Yeah, I
easy because
mean,
everything's a terabyte now, and that's going to be a fourth of it. Like I don't know how true that is, but if the shoe fucking fits, it
well,
fits,
like that's
dude.
what I said.
Like
Luckily, I have a hard drive that handles other games. You know what I mean? Like, I had my like if I didn't have those like if I didn't have that hard drive that was a terabyte, like I'd be like out of space because like
right?
I don't use my other SSD because that holds Windows on it, so I don't really put anything over there because that's not even that big. It's only like 250 gigs, even though Windows doesn't have is not that huge. I still like to be let Windows alone, so Windows has its room and doesn't.
Because it's needy and yeah.
Yeah. So it's like we're PC talking. I know some people don't understand it, but things need to be. If you have a PC and you have Windows on a drive, don't add nothing to that drive.
Let it
Windows
be
Windows is it's that
needy.
it's that woman or that man because I don't want to put just women out there on this. They're high class. They are
High maintenance,
high maintenance.
and they
They
need their space.
need their space. Unless you're paying them, giving them money for something or giving them something new to play with. So it's just like one of those things. It's like I look at it. It's like I mean, if you look at it, look at how bad Windows was when it just dropped out its new update, the 2004 update. It destroyed. It literally destroyed things. Like it took me. It was taking my rig is able to open things in like a second. Like Windows, boom, 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 boom. Like I can go through. I can open a ton of windows up, and they'll all open up within seconds. When I updated it, I had to roll back because it was taking me 20 seconds to 30 seconds just to open one window. Like that thing, and it ruined people's sound, everything. Like
Mm,
that is like it was the worst update they ever came out with. Like I literally rolled back and have not looked forward to
that
another update.
that's why when it comes to Windows updates, I have my setting to do it manually myself. I don't do it the moment the update comes out for that exact reason. I don't want to go through the hassle
But
of
I don't even think
rolling
they tried to
back.
fix it. That's the thing.
Yeah, they said, fuck it, we'll just do another update instead. We'll just push out the next one really quick. Like, that doesn't really solve the problem here, guys.
Yeah.
That's like a nice cut on your arm. You rub some dirt on it, and be like, you'll live. It's
Yeah,
fine.
we're not gonna get an infection.
Yeah, you'll be all right. I promise. Everything's good.
He's like,
No, it's not.
I'm running out of space. I have a 2 terabyte and just put another terabyte. What? How do you run out of that much space? Good God, what are you doing?
It's me. You want to hear what I have?
I like honestly like see. I don't like. I feel as people like to hoarder stuff.
I do.
I'm not a hoarder. Like if I'm not playing that fucking game, it's off. I'll re-download it later if I want to play it. You know what I mean? Like that's it's still there. It's not like if you pay for something it disappears. Like it still sits in your library and it's just not installed.
Get this. I have a 128 gig boot drive. So whatever. That's by itself, right?
Yeah.
A 500 gig NVMe SSD that's full. I have a 1 terabyte hard drive that's full. And I just put in a 4 terabyte hard drive.
Why though? Like why do you guys hoarder things? I feel like I'm talking to my wife.
Hey now.
I just don't understand it. Like if you're not playing it, why do you need it on your job?
I don't fucking know.
Like me, I'm getting ready to start deleting stuff because like I dropped under 500 gigs left on my hard drive. So like I'm just like I don't like that. Like I'm starting to lose space. Like I was just like it needs game files, music. Bro, look.
I have 26 games downloaded on my PC right now.
Why?
I don't know.
Like
And some of them that are downloaded I haven't played in a year.
Yeah, they gotta go. It's okay. It's okay to let go. Don't ever let go, Jack.
Circa 1997 Titanic right there, boys.
He's the girl floating on the wood while Jack's sitting there freezing. I'll never let go, and that bitch let go of him.
I'm hot, okay?
Yeah, I mean, but that's different. Like you got. It's not just games. He's talking 26 games. Why his shit is cluttered.
I got Tarkov, Valorant, COD, Destiny 2, which I played like 2 hours of. Borderlands 3, I haven't played in 6 months. I have it downloaded.
I don't understand.
How about this? This is the kicker. The Forest. It's a horror.
I know what it is.
Survival game, right?
Yeah. Yep. Is that where you have to build like the camps and stuff? Like you go down and chop trees out and all that, and you got to build. Like,
yeah, kind of. Yeah.
I think I've seen that one before.
Me and Mr. Shady played through it and beat the storyline behind it, right?
Yeah.
Well, I beat the game. Why is it still downloaded on my computer? I don't fucking know.
I mean, it sounds like he's lazy and doesn't want to clean up.
And right. Now, see, like some games like Pummel Party or like Tabletop Sim.
Like, what is that?
Pummel Party? You've never heard of it?
You have 60 games on your computer?
Holy shit, I thought I was bad.
Woo!
Pummel Party. It's a
so
more violent
Mario
Party.
Chat thinks you have porn on your computer.
I paid way too much money for my setup of my computer to watch porn on this thing.
I'm not even gonna lie. I've never opened any type of deal. I would be petrified to open that because it's like that shit is so toxic to a computer.
That's why I have a cell phone.
Yeah.
If I want to look at porn, I just put it on my cell phone. I'm not putting it on my gaming PC.
No viruses there, buddy.
This thing's way too expensive to risk getting a virus. Not about it. But you've never heard of Pummel Party?
I've never heard of Pummel Party.
Bro, we got to do a game night at some point between like at least me and you and maybe some other people.
I got Jack in the Box. I mean, is it concept like that?
Well, Pummel Party is basically a more violent Mario Party.
Oh.
Yeah, like it's got a little bit of blood to it. Nothing crazy. It's just a little bit more of a mature Mario Party type game. Same concept. Mini games, go around. The whole trophy system, star system, like that's what it is. It is so much fun. So much fun.
So, like, you're talking GTA. GTA is 100 and some gigs less than COD. Napster,
awesome.
Bro. Napster's. Oh yeah, right, bro.
What is Napster?
You don't know what Napster is? Napster and LimeWire were the things back in the day where.
I know LimeWire.
Well, Napster is the same thing. Napster was out before LimeWire. Napster was like the go-to thing before LimeWire became a thing. Like you could actually pirate like movies, everything from this fucking thing, and it was like one of those things that it was like the shit, bro. Like you could have I used to have songs before like 6 months before they came out. Like this
Damn.
thing was dope. Like it would I could pull shit like I'd be like because like my uncle was a DJ in Baltimore, so he would have like certain states get shit before other states. Like I had Nelly Country Grammar 6 months before it came out. Like I'm banging it in my car, and people are like, "What is that? That shit sucks." And then 6 months later, you hear them all at the CD, and they're all. I thought, oh, I'm looking at them like, well, I thought that shit sucked 6 months ago, but you're listening to it now.
Well, see, maybe I'm different because I grew up in like middle of the woods on a back roads ridge in West Virginia. Like the first game that I ever played like online multiplayer was Modern
Fucking
Warfare 2.
Frostwire. Modern
Was
Warfare 2 was my favorite COD game that I ever played. I
Modern
don't
Warfare
think
2 was the first game that I played multiplayer on. So
Napster definitely was how to give a computer an STD.
now, now what kind of STD we talking about? Is it one that where
Oh
you can take a little
no,
pill and it's gone and we're
no,
good?
these are the
Or
bad
one that
ones where
you're
these fucking destroyed your PCs. Like there was no getting them
ah
back.
one of those
Yeah,
STDs. Yeah, we don't want
like
that.
honestly, you had to learn the program so you knew what you were looking for. Like you could pull them out. Like certain things would be if you got good enough at the
All right, now
program, you knew how to stay away.
Smee, if we're talking STDs and you just say the word pulling out, you got to watch what you're saying, bud.
Yeah, I mean like sometimes you start to download and you're like, oh fuck, that's bad. Boop, pull out. Kind of save yourself. I'm serious.
Uh,
That's how it worked, man. Like sometimes like you had to catch it. You had to catch it before you caught it. You know what I mean?
like that bot that just came into your stream.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to ban it right now.
Oh, don't you love when they come by, hit him with a ban hammer real quick?
Yeah, stop. The more he talks.
Who, me or
No,
you?
I think all of us talking. Tree Man's older. Tree Man's older than I am.
Can I say I just lived in the middle of BFE, man. I didn't have like good internet. I remember.
Dial
Let's
up.
put it this way.
Did you have
Let's
dial
put
up?
it-
Were you old enough for dial up?
My first email account that I used up until 3 years ago was AOL. Yeah, I had dial up.
I heard that sound the other day. I was on a soundboard looking for sounds, and I happened to click it by accident. I heard it. I was like, "Oh my fucking god! Please
Brings
stop!"
back memories, right?
Had
Oh,
to
dude, I
change
remember
out the
dial-up.
files. Yo, it was so bad back in the day. Earthlink disc, AOL online disc.
Yeah, I'm not kidding. I had to ask my dad
See,
when I was young.
so you got to experience the AOL AIM chat then. So
Yeah, I got to experience all that.
so you came in a little bit after me with like after the the cool thing it was called. I don't know if you got to experience. You ever get to experience ICQ?
No.
See, ICQ was before AIM. Kind of like took over. Now, ICQ was the same gist, but like you had all these cool like you could make your friends list and all that. Everybody had their own little thing, and like you would get these weird sounds like when somebody would message you. Like it was a shit. Like it was the way of communicating easier. But that was like once AOL came in, it destroyed that, and like AIM became the thing. Everybody had a AIM messenger because it was able to go on your phone and all that shit.
See, my first phone, I'm in that weird age gap, right, where I was growing up with this stuff. Because I remember AOL, I remember dial-up, asking my dad if I can get online to, play stupid games on a web browser because I knew that it would turn this phone off, right? I remember all that. But to give you an idea, my very first cell phone that I had was the Nokia brick phone, like the rectangle thing that you played Snake on, like the meme. That was my very first cell phone that I ever owned.
Was that a track phone? I think that was a track phone at one point where you had to buy the card for it.
I have no idea, but all I remember is that it was back in the Singular days, like the cell phone company Singular.
Yeah.
Wireless. It was through them, and it was my very first cell phone that I ever earned. So I'm in that weird, like, right on the cusp of,
as things started changing.
Yeah, as things started to change and progress forward, that was my first cell phone. I remember dial-up, like those old school things that people were just like, how'd you live with them? I'm like, well, I fucking remember them. I had them. I survived. It's cool. And
bro.
bam.
Like now, but like when you look at it now, it's like, how did we live with it? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we couldn't go back to that now and be like, oh yeah,
No,
we're
no, God,
cool,
no.
we're cool, yeah. Tree Man said bulletin boards, and then when somebody called, you got kicked from the internet.
Yeah, 100% you did.
Yo, so I collect a lot of shit, like a lot of Redskins stuff and a lot of like different memorabilia. And I
That
have
shit's gonna be worth some money here soon
so
with all the
so
name change
I
and
dug
logo
through all my
stuff.
stuff, right? And I pull out a real phone. Like it wasn't like a rotary one. It was
Yeah.
more one that you had to push the buttons on still, but it's still like it was still connected to the base and everything like that. And he and my I pulled it out, and my daughter was like, "What is that?" I started feeling like super old. I was like, "This is a phone." She's like, "No, it's not." I'm like, "Yeah, it is." I was like, "Watch, I'm gonna plug it in." So I plug it into the like the landline thing because we have a landline for like the kids and stuff. Like if
My
we
dad still has one.
well, so do we, because we if we leave, none of my kids have cell phones. So like if we go maybe out the road to the store real quick, me and the wife, just in case something would happen, they had the phone. So
Yeah.
I plugged this thing in, and she's like, "This is not a phone." I was like, "Pick it up." I said, and push. And I was like, "Type Nana's phone number in." She's like, "What? Type what?" I was like,
Yeah.
"Push the number in." So she pushes it, and it ring. It calls, and she's like,
What?
"What is this?" She's like, "This," and then we're sitting here one day, and I forgot that we had plugged it in. I left it plugged in, and I'm sitting here, and I hear a damn thing ring, and I'm like, "What the fuck is that?" I forgot completely that it was plugged in, and I'm sitting here like looking around, like, "The fuck is that noise?" I forgot what a real phone sound like because it had a ringer on it. Like it's not like our stuff where you
Yeah.
set the stuff up, and if you don't hear that for a while, like you don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
Uh-huh.
and I was sitting here, I'm like, "What is that?" And my wife's looking at me. She comes out the room. She's like, "What is that?" And we're both sitting here going back and forth, like, "What the hell is this sound?" And then we're like, "Oh shit, it's the phone." And
So
we
you're gonna love this one. This happened back at Christmas time, right? I
oh,
went
the
back to visit
bag
my
phone.
parents,
Jesus.
right? And I was on the phone with my grandmother when I was at my dad's house, out in the middle of BFE, West Virginia. And I'm on the phone with my grandmother, and the power goes out, right? And all the phones die. But I'm on the phone with my grandma, and she's in her mid to late 70s. So when something like that happens, she
Oh boy.
panics. No matter what the fuck it is, she immediately panics if like we just hang up for no reason.
Yeah.
So here I am. I have to walk to my father's kitchen and stand there, pick up his fucking landline and use it for the first time in I think in 15 years to call my grandmother back. And my dad literally is over like taking pictures with his cell phone. Like, oh my God, look at him. He's using a fucking landline for the first time ever. I'm like, Dad, it's been here since I was like 5. I know what it is, but the irony of me having to use a landline phone again just to call my grandma because the power went out, it's hilarious to me.
It is. You don't think about it. You really don't because it's like the way times have changed. You're just like, okay, like this is not normal anymore. And then it's funny when you go into an older person's house like that because that's normal. They're not
Yeah.
using cell phones. You know what I mean? Like if you give
You
them
know
a
what's
cell phone,
great?
they're like, "What the fuck is this?" And they think it's like some foreign object to them. Like they don't even know it's a phone.
During that power outage, right? Because it lasted for like a day. My dad actually pulled out of the closet another landline phone that we plugged in. So we had two of them in separate parts of the house in case, we could get to one quicker than the other. But it was the old school clear plastic landline phone. That way you could see all the different wires and all the components and
Oh
everything
wow.
that's multicolored. Do you remember those things?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't think they
Yeah, he
lasted long.
he pulled one of those sons of bitches out of the closet
Was
and
it like the
hooked it
big?
up.
Is it like the big square one where the numbers are on the front? You dial them, or was it?
It was the rectangle one where like whenever you picked it up, it was about probably an inch of plastic all the way up and down where you could see
Yeah,
through,
yeah,
right?
yep.
The base, like the holster, whatever the fuck you want to call it, was see through. The cable was see through. The phone itself was see through, and the numbers were on the part that you picked up.
Okay, okay, I got
Um,
you.
yeah, and it was just one of those, and I thought it was. I've seen it before, like I've used it before, but I'm just like, here I am, you know, 25 years old, visiting my parents at Christmas time, and the power goes out, and we're having to use landline phones, and he pulls out this thing straight circa 1990 to use. I'm like, this is awesome. This is a throwback to my childhood. Let's go.
Yeah, I wouldn't
I
have
was
found that awesome. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, it had like a because I got your stream up and
Yeah.
Cash Stats. Didn't it glow a little? Yeah, I think it used to. I think it had like a green like glow in the dark thing to it or something like
Put it
that.
in the light.
Yeah,
Charge
something.
it.
Yeah, something like that too. And I was like, I've seen this before, but I forgot how freaking cool these things are, man. I
It was
want one.
I think the reason why, like, when things like that happen, you realize how much things were how simple things were,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
how, like, easy it was for us to, like, function throughout the days, and how less the stress was, you know what I mean? Like, because now it's like if you have your cell phone goes the fuck out. You're like, what do I do? I
yep.
don't know how to contact you. Contact me in it, or you get on social media, guys. My phone's not working. DM me in here if you need me. Like,
So I can tell you the one thing and the worst decision my grandmother has ever made was to get Wi-Fi throughout her house. It's shit Wi-Fi, right? I'm talking if two or three people jump on it, it crashes and you just have to reset the entire thing. It's terrible.
Jesus.
But she lives in the southern coalfields of West Virginia, where it takes you like 40 minutes to get to the closest Walmart,
Whew.
let alone, I mean, that's the closest place to get cell phone service, and that's in
Yeah,
any direction, right? So I absolutely loved as a child, because I had a cell phone throughout middle school,
yeah.
right? And to give you an idea, the spring semester of a year was the grade I was in. So, like, I graduated high school, 12th grade in 2012. So you can see how the years line up, right? The spring semester is the grade I'm in. Make sense?
Yeah.
Um, so here I am in like 2008 with a cell phone all the way through high school, all this, right? Love going to my grandma's because I can just sit my phone down and not give a shit about what anyone says. Because even if you want to get a hold of me, you can't. My phone doesn't work when I'm at her house. I don't get service. I don't get internet. None of this shit. You want to get a hold of me? I'll get a hold of you Sunday night when I come back to my dad's house. Once my phone starts to work again, because
The simple
it's just a
times.
it's $1,000 paperweight at this point.
Yep.
Her getting Wi-Fi, even though it's the shittiest fucking Wi-Fi in the world, at her house is the one thing I hate about her place now. Is I don't have the ability to go from her place and my phone not work,
And disappear.
knowing
Just go
and
off the
just
grid for a little
disappear.
bit. Yeah.
Yes, I absolutely hate it because it was the best thing ever. I could turn my phone off.
Kind of like a detox for free.
Yeah, it literally was family time. I
Yeah.
could go to my grandma, sit my phone down, turn it off, knowing that even if it was on, no one can get a hold of me as it just didn't work. And I could just enjoy family time, enjoy time with my friends, my cousins, aunts, uncles, everyone. But now she got Wi-Fi a couple years back, and now I was just like, well,
I don't
I
want to
can
come
use
here
my
no
phone,
more.
and I hate it. Like I love going to my grandma's, but
Yeah,
it's missing that aspect because she has internet. I'm connected again,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I hate that I'm connected because I enjoyed like the social media freedom that I had, even if it was for 48 to 72 hours.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
it's one of those things. It's like you kind of get back to like the simple times. You kind of get back to using your brain and not having social media or any type of electronics do the thinking for you. Like, you actually have to put time into things, and it gives you a better broad respect for those things when you get to have them, because you don't get to have them very often nowadays because everything moves so fast.
yeah, it really does.
And that's kind of like where I live now. Like, I say it to my wife, I say, like, we used to live in a different area, and like, literally it's only like a 10-minute drive, 10 15. No, it's not 15 minutes, it's 10 minutes, 10 minute drive, but you cross a bridge
Yeah,
to get to where we used to live. And it is such a weird thing when you cross that bridge, because it's like things slow down in that area. Where we're at now, there's a lot of rich people. Like, I mean, there's some serious fucking rich people over here. And it's a different atmosphere. But everything moved so fucking fast over here. Everybody is in like a hurry, like they're gonna miss something or something's gonna happen if they don't fucking move at 100 mile an hour. And I'm just like, to me, it kind of gets overwhelming because I've never been that person. I'm like When I need to work fast, I work fast. If I need to work hard, I work hard. But I've always been that person. I like to take my time, be stress free, try to pay attention to what's going on around me and see different things. And I'm like, my wife fits perfect over here because she's always, it's just like boom, boom, boom. Everything has to happen now. I'm more,
Yeah.
hey, look, let's get our cards in position, get everything in order, and then make it happen. That way we don't get in over our heads. Like with the house, it took us a lot of years, like 10 or 11 years to be able to get our house because I'm like, look, I'm not doing this thing super fast and we get this house and then we end up can't really afford the house. You know what I mean? Because when you buy a house, you own the house. You pay for everything that breaks. There's no more renting and somebody come, hey, look, this broke, it needs fixed. No more of that. So like that aspect of it, I've been like, look, we will get there. Take our time getting there. And it was once she realized, hey, look, we can get there and let's do it the right way, like how I was explaining it. It happened. It happened quicker. It happened a lot quicker like that instead of forcing it to happen. And
Yeah.
that's how it is over here. Like everything has to go so fast. And I'm just like, dude, like fucking people slow down, bro. Like life is passing people you by because you're moving so fast. Like you're missing out on things that you could be really cherishing and putting your time into. And that's the thing I think really gets me.
Yeah, and I think we see that a lot in like how people are today and how they interact with each other. Um, because everyone wants results now. You know, you ask a question, you want the answer. You want to see this instant success, like coming full circle to like where we started with this conversation, tonight. Of like everyone is so focused on those numbers and so focused on getting big, and they want to see that now. They're trying to get ahead of themselves, and you just got to enjoy the ride, man. You just got to go
Yes.
with the flow, enjoy that progress, whatever it is. And I can tell you, like, I'm terrified for what the next year has for me because I'll be getting my master's degree by May.
Yeah, I mean, and
I'll be I'll,
that's
I'll
the
be
thing.
applying for jobs in the next 3 months.
Uh,
A job where I could be working for the next 10 years. Easily, jobs I apply for in the next 3 months are jobs where I could potentially be living and be in that position for the next decade of my life. Not to mention the actual interviews that I'll be having for those jobs, in the spring. Like, it's absolutely insane how quick this is going to go for me. But I just have to remember of like, relax, take it day by
yeah,
day because,
I mean that's the thing is too is that people don't get that. Like, and I think that's why I relate to you more because you're older. Your mind's older than your age, if that makes sense. Like you have a lot more wisdom than your age. Like a lot of people in your age now, they're in that spot where they want to hurry. Like as you said, they want
yeah.
to hurry, hurry, hurry. You're more, hey, I'm gonna suck this ride in. I'm gonna learn. I'm going to adapt to things and make it the best it can be. And I think that's what a lot of people need to do in the world is they just got to slow down and there's be a lot more progress if you just slow down and let things sink in instead of push, 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 push. And like the only thing like what you're saying, Swizzle, is I live where you live. I will never live there again in my life. There is I really don't feel there's not a lot of opportunity there. And I mean, you know this yourself, you live there. I am not going to ever I would never put my kids in that situation. Like the thing I love about where we're at now is that there's so much opportunity. Even though it moves fast, there is a really big opportunity for my kids to have everything that I didn't. They have a better school system. They're in a 6A school. They're in a school that is like number one and number two in the state every year. So that's what I look at. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it things are only fast if you allow them to be fast. Like people can go fast around me all day long. Not gonna make me go any faster because I want to enjoy what is there and what is able to be there if you give it time to happen. Like,
So, I think it's funny because you mentioned how you see me and like where I'm at is more mature than my actual age.
yeah,
um, that really hit home for me. And I'm not going to get political, trust me. But when all this COVID stuff happened, that really hit home for me. Because I am in a weird age gap in my cohort of people I'm in grad school with,
Mhm.
where I took a 2-year gap between undergrad and I was a fifth year in undergrad. So I'm 26. I'll be 27 when I get my master's degree. Most of everyone else I go to school with is, 21 to 23 years old and don't have any professional work experience. And I have 2 years. But when all this COVID stuff happened, everyone in my office that was, in grad school, not the professional staff, but students, were just like, we need to work from home. We need to be treated like students. We want this while we are still being asked to come into the office. Right. And my whole mindset is this is a fucking job. If your boss tells you to come in, you don't get to bitch and complain. You just come in. Like you just do your part. You do what you're supposed to. And I thought it was real funny because I saw the maturity difference in the people that were my age I worked with versus the professional staff who were, anywhere from 5 to 10 years older than me, who were just like, yeah, this still sucks coming in, but it's our jobs. This is what we have to do. Well, everyone my age, or that I'm in school with, were just like, I don't want to come in here. This isn't fair. And I'm just like, welcome to the real world. Life ain't fair, buddy.
I mean, do you think that comes with the generation though? Is like
I think it does.
like there's an expectation, like I feel like because I don't want to say it's like your whole generation, because there's some like people like you that concept things a lot easier, but there's also I feel is that there's those people that think they are owed something or expected to be treated a certain way and things to be handed to them. Um, like that's not how I was raised. And I also think that's how you're raised in a sense, but I mean, I also think the world pushes, "Hey, I'm deserving of this. I should get this." Like when I was raised, "Hey, look, if you want something, you gotta fucking work for it, and you're not getting it unless you do." So, I mean, do you feel as like it's the generation that is out there that they're expecting that they expect too much?
I think so. Um, because in in my office from day one, all the professional staff said, "You are working here. We're going to treat you like professional staff. Like we're not going to treat you like students. We're going to treat you like you're full time here, right?" And I respect that as a student. I don't want to be treated like less than you. I work in the office you do. I want to be seen as, your equal, your coworker, not just a student worker, right? That's how I see it. That's what I want. And when all this COVID stuff happened, um, mind you, I work in a university office, right? Where we were asked to come in when students weren't going to classes on campus. They were doing everything online by this point. Um, and I'm not kidding when I could say the janitorial staff of my building would literally come wipe down every single thing every doorknob that you can imagine, every handrail you can imagine, every hour they were cleaning this shit, right? I've never seen this place so fucking clean in my life. They cleaned every single desk every single night. Like they wiped it down, disinfected it, everything. Like you can imagine how clean it was. And the same students that I was sharing classrooms with were saying, well, this isn't fair. I fear for my health. And I'm just like, well, I've never seen this place any cleaner than I ever have. And you're saying it's not fair. You're being asked to come in. But they said from day one, they're going to treat you like professional staff. Well, I straight up said that, well, what isn't fair, since you're saying it's not fair that you're being asked to come into work, into an office that's being cleaned literally every hour. You say it's not fair. Well, I said it's not fair. There are people that are losing their jobs over COVID-19. That's not fair. Is that people are getting laid off because of a virus that we can't control.
100%.
Like it's just spreading. And there were, I think, 7 other people that were grad students in my office, and not a single one of them agreed with me. All of them said that it wasn't fair that they have to put their health on the line. And I'm like, I've never felt, if I told my boss if I didn't feel like I was comfortable, I wouldn't come in. And she agreed with me. I wouldn't have to. But like I said, this place is getting cleaned every hour. Every surface that someone could touch is getting cleaned every hour by the janitorial staff and then deep cleaned every night. Like, what about that makes you feel like you're in an unsafe environment? And this was back in March, like before there was a single case in my entire state, right? So I think it is a generational thing because I was the oldest person grad school in my office, and they all said that we don't feel safe, and I'm just like, well, no, 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 it's not fair that you're being treated like professional staff, and unprofessional staff is being asked to come in. Therefore, you're going to be asked. But what isn't fair is people lose their jobs over this kind of thing, and somehow I was in the wrong when I said that. I don't get it. I think it's a generational thing.
Yeah, I mean, of course, I mean, you're always going to be in the role when you go against a bunch, like somebody disagrees with you. Like you're always the bad guy, and I mean, that brings us into like the whole like the whole thing of what's going on, like the Black Lives Matter things and all the protests and all the things going on. Like it's wild.
I got a good story for that one too about me if you want to hear it.
I mean, I look at it as like it's it's generate like some of it's generational stuff. Like the older group will disagree with me because I push it, and or some of them may agree, but I mean, like it's I wish people would see things and just open their eyes to what's in front of them and what the opportunity lies, because I think they miss a big part of it when they're in that frame of mind. Oh, I'm owed this, I shouldn't have to do this. Like if it was that way, we wouldn't have the shit we have today.
Yeah.
Like all the high technology that we have. Those people busted their ass to make this stuff. Like you know what I mean, they didn't like if they probably some of those people probably maybe never took a day off in their life, or they came to work sick. And I mean, like I know my wife, she's a prime example of it. She's 30. I don't want to say this wrong because she'll beat my ass, but she's in her she's I'm gonna put it this way because I don't really remember how old she is right now, but
Ooh.
she's in her 30s. Put it that way, she's in the 30s, so that's a safe room.
Yes. Yeah.
So she's in her 30s, but she is like one of those people, like she feels bad as she takes off. Like even if she has to take off for a doctor's appointment, she feels bad. Like she's not at work working. She's she's one of those people, like when we first met, like she wasn't that person, but she had flipped a switch and did like this 360 complete spin where she ended up going and gets her GED. She ended up going and getting her her degrees that she has, and then she's just doesn't stop. And she's like she just doesn't take off. Like I'm like, look, babe, you got all this stuff. Like, let's go on a vacation. I don't want to miss work. I don't want to nothing. Like, I'm like, babe, it's okay. Like, you bust your ass 365, tw- like hours upon hours. And I'm like, just take a break sometimes. Let yourself
Yeah.
detox and clear out and then come back and do whatever you do. And like she's just one of those people, like you can't get her to take off. And
I mean, I'm the same way.
but like it's to me, it's just like I don't know if I look at it differently than somebody that's like that. Like I always like if there's a time like if you're like that, I feel as you have to eventually like, hey, take a week off, just break from it, clear yourself, clear your head. Like your head, if you're taking in that much information all year long, like I don't know how you don't detox from it. Like you guys run, like I get amazed by it because like my mind, I'm taking a break somewhere along the line. But you guys, it doesn't matter. Like you just suck in more. You want more and more and more and more and more and more. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, slow down, bro.
Yeah, like my days off. It's crazy because I was originally planning to go to PAX East back in March, right? Um, and the only reason I didn't wasn't because of COVID. was because of financial reasons. I didn't know if I was going to have a summer internship or not. Turns out I didn't. So I didn't have an income. I didn't go to save money. But it was in December where this is December, right? 3 months ahead of time. I'm asking her if I can take, you know, Thursday and Friday off. And obviously, I'm still going to work the hours I'm required. I'm just going to work them the week before and the week after, make them up. But even just to take off those 2 days because I'm expected to do hours in my office every day of the week. I felt terrible asking that, in December for something that was going to happen in March. It's just who I am. If like I'm going to work. If you expect me to be here every day of the week, I'm going to be here. I'm going to be in here at 8 a.m. every day when I don't have to be because I make my own hours. It's only 20 hours. It's an assistantship. It's not crazy. Remember, I'm also a student, so there's that on the side. But um, I can come in at noon and work, noon to whenever every day if I wanted to. But I get in there at 8 a.m. and she's like, "Why the hell do you do this?" And it's like, "Well, because I'm going to use my day to the fullest. I'm going to get in early. I'm going to leave work by noon. I'm going to do my homework and get all this stuff done. So when I go home, this is me time when I'm home. I
Yeah.
work when I'm at school. When I'm at home, this is what I do. I I don't like taking off days. I hate requesting hours off
See,
or trying to work around something. I
that
hate it.
Tree Man said something good too. He said he has to take PTO this week so I don't lose vacation time. I think that's bullshit. That's one thing I do hate about companies like corporate America is they force you to take time off when you don't want to take it off. You know what I mean? Like you
Mhm.
have to take it off because you're gonna lose it. Like, no,
Now,
motherfucker, I earned that. You know what I mean? I earned that by coming in here every day, on time, busted my ass for this company. Like, why do I have? Why does that not roll over? And why do I lose something that I worked hard to get?
so there's one company that I worked for. It was actually my fraternity headquarters that I think they did this right. Mind you, the position I'm in was designed for recent um, undergrad graduates. You just got your bachelor's degree, right? First professional job out of school. And I was trying to go to PAX 2018, I think. Yeah, PAX 2018. And I already requested the days off so I could go. I requested Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday, 4 days out of the 13 vacation days that I had. Well, it turns out that I was also doing interviews for grad school at about that same time. My boss or my supervisor at the time straight up said, "We're going to use the rest of your vacation days um, for your grad school interviews, right? And that's only fair, but we're not going to say that you're limited. We want you to go out and go to as many as you want when it comes to your grad school interviews. And don't worry about your remaining vacation days being the limit to how many interviews you go to. If we go over, we'll figure something out. But don't worry, we'll worry about that later." They straight up said, go interview as much as you need to. We're gonna hold true to the 4 days that you asked off to go to PAX because you requested that, 4 months ago.
Yeah,
And we're gonna use up the rest of your vacation days because you're, leaving work. That makes sense. But don't just because you run out of vacation, we're not going to take away your sick days. That's not fair to you. We're not going to make you use your sick days. Go as many go to as many interviews as you're able to financially. Just do it. And I was like, that's the mindset that needs to be there.
yeah. I mean, that's kind of like that's one thing I liked about FedEx too. FedEx really got this. So they don't do like a rollover type of deal because as so many years you're there, once you're like a part time or whatever, like your hours add up to like your stuff. Like and so like once the new year starts, you can start off with a chunk the more you're there. So like what they'll do is if you don't use all of it, like so if you don't use all your stuff, they'll actually pay you for it.
Oh, that's really
So
good.
your hours, like say, so you have 40 hours saved up and you haven't used it, and it comes time to like you have to use it or get paid for it. They'll pay you for that 40 hours. So your check the next week is gonna be your 40 hours for your vacation and then plus whatever many hours you worked that week. So you get like a double check right there.
That's
And
nice.
then it could even be better. Like if you get into the full time spot, you may have saved 80 hours. You know what I mean? So you get You get
That sounds like a new computer to me.
I'm telling you, dude, like it was I was like, wow, they actually pay you for your time. Like I mean, and I thought that was kind of dope. So it's not, you don't lose it, but you at least get paid for it. So
Yeah, that's really cool.
it's still a benefit to, like, if you're not that person who wants to take vacation and whatnot. So I forget how you gain. I forget how it was. You gained an hour of vacation time per so many hours. I forget how it happened, but that was one of the coolest ones I've ever seen. Like, because like I said, like the ones that you have to use it or you lose it kind of deal. I think that's bullshit because you work to
Yeah.
earn it.
And I think that's really weird where I'm at right now because, and mind you, it just comes back to like the office mentality. If they treat me like professional staff, they said that from day one with none of the benefits of professional staff. So like I'm a, when it, it's weird because in the school's eyes, I'm professional staff and not a student. So like I have to come in before school starts and start working, which I'm not complaining about it, but it's just the irony is hilarious to me. Of like, you're a student, but you're professional staff, so you have to start back, 3 weeks before school starts. Okay, that's cool, I guess. Oh,
Hey,
by the way, there's a fall break that students get. But professional staff doesn't get it, so you're professional staff this time. So you got to come and
I
work.
mean, if you're getting paid, fuck it.
Well, I'm
But
just like the
I
irony. I was
get.
like, I'm so confused. Which am I?
Hey, you're staff apparently.
But with none of the benefits, like
I
a
mean,
minimum wage, I don't even get. And this is, I think, my biggest complaint because I don't work enough hours to have the option for employee like health insurance or
yeah.
anything. Mind you, I'm 26, so I'm off my parents' insurance now for good. Um, which is weird because I've never really used it, but it's always been a nice fallback to have that
Yeah.
as an option, right?
I thought as long as
Um,
you were in school that you could stay on there. Or
yeah, gotta look into it. I don't know because I turned 26 in May, so it's new to me.
yeah.
Um, but I don't make enough hours to get employee benefits, but the school recognized me as an employee and not an undergraduate student, so I don't get student benefits like at the student health clinic. So I'm in that weird area of like I don't get the student benefits every other undergraduate student gets because the university sees me as an employee, but I don't work enough hours as an employee to qualify for the employee benefits. And
Yeah.
me being 26, I don't have anything right now. Like that's my biggest complaint is right now I don't have any type of insurance, which is terrifying to me. But it's just like, all right, come on. Can I just be a student this one time? Can I at least get that student insurance, please? Hello, that'd be nice.
Right, right. But
Um, I think that's the 26, year old adult coming out in me thinking about health insurance. Like I'm complaining because I give me one of the two,
yeah,
please.
but you gotta have it. You never know what's gonna happen. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing is that you never know what's gonna happen.
Right?
So I mean, it would be kind of scary. Like I would hate not having it. Like luckily my wife gets state insurance and we're married and we can be on each other's. I can be on her insurance because now like I'm not at FedEx and I've tore my shoulders and stuff like that. Like I don't have FedEx insurance anymore because I'm not there no more. So it's like luckily you're allowed to do that and you can, and I still have insurance. So like if my shoulder falls off again, I can go get it fixed.
Yeah. So that's one of the things that I'll complain about, but I also think it's an important complaint. It's like, give me an option, please. Can I get the student insurance since I'm technically still a student?
How does that go? Like if like when you claim taxes and stuff, like how do you figure out how do you go under? Do you go under a student or you go under an employee?
An employee because I have to. Well, it's weird because it's kind of both at the same time because I am a student, but a part-time employee at the university.
Yeah.
So I file my taxes as I would an employee, but I have to make sure I claim myself as a student at the same time. Um, and the only reason I'm able to do that and prove it is because I have, my FAFSA that I have to submit showing that I'm a student every year.
Yeah.
Um, for financial aid purposes and things like that. So I'm able to do it. And it's not as complicated as you think, but I file like normal and just notify that I'm a student. And
Yeah.
here's my FAFSA to show that I am.
I gotcha.
So I get a good majority back, but um, still, it doesn't make up for the fact of I'm in that weird gray area of not an employee enough to get employee benefits, but I'm not enough of a student to get student benefits
Yeah.
at my university. It's super frustrating and annoying. I hate it, to be honest with you. Because, mind you, I'm also a student. I'm broke,
Yeah,
right? I'm a college
I
student. It's not
got
like
you.
I can just afford my own insurance. Because the running joke of college students is we're always broke, and it's kind of the truth. We are. I hate it, but um, yeah, it's a weird. I think that's my biggest complaint as a 26-year-old
Yeah.
adult. Things insurance.
Well, I think
Ugh.
I think we're gonna end it here. I'm not seeing too many more questions in the chat from anybody, but it was definitely great having you on and catching up because we haven't had one of these in a while. And appreciate your time and the energy you brought with you, as always. Do you have anybody you
I-
want to shout out or anything you want to say? Have at it.
Uh, well, again, I want to thank you for inviting me to be, here. I consider it an honor. Um, to be able to take what 3 hours of your time now. I don't even know, close to three
Close to,
hours.
yeah.
Just to talk to you, man. It's been awesome. I want to thank everyone that's in chat that's stuck around and had to listen to me. I'm sorry. Kidding. I make funs and puns of myself all the time, so get used to that if you ever stop by. And feel free to stop by one of my streams if you want to. I hope that's okay. It's me.
Yeah, I mean, you could.
Um,
We'll get your link. If I don't think any of my mods are in here right now, but I'll get your.
but
I'll shout you out.
but I would love to see you guys stop by, say hi to me, get to know me a little bit more. And again, man, thank you so much for the invite. This has been awesome. It's the first type of interview like this I've ever been invited to.
He
So,
said it made him
uh,
feel old.
well, I'm sorry.
There you guys go.
I
There's
make you
his
feel
link.
old.
Make sure you guys go hit that link and drop him a follow. Give him turn that notification bell on and get to see what he's about. Um, Help him grow a little bit. I mean, you guys have really got an in-depth look at who he is. So hopefully some of you guys might have vibed with him and he'll see you guys over in his chat. We'll definitely have all his links, his social media, all that stuff will be in the description below. In the YouTube video, so you guys will be able to catch him there. And like I said, I appreciate it, man. Appreciate the fun times. Like I said, been almost 3 years, so kind of crazy to see where we both are right now, and
Yeah, dude,
different,
you've seen me go through a lot in these past 3 years,
yeah,
man.
the different growth, man. It's kind of weird. It is it's like a little brother growing up underneath me, so it's like it's weird. It's a weird experience because I have like I mean I have my little brother, but it's
Like, not kidding. You see me just after one college degree applying for my master's, and you'll be with me whenever I graduate getting this one.
it's
Like, those
crazy.
are three big milestones in my life that you've been a part of through all of them, basically. So I think that's awesome in
Yeah,
general. So
it's definitely like to me I don't want to I don't want to say it's weird because it's not weird, but it is definitely it's a humbling experience to see you continue to grow the way you're growing and still putting in the effort and the time and just your ability to maintain yourself and not get caught up in the um, the time and keep your mind where it is and just it's amazing to me that you can still with how everything is your mind is still focused on school and being successful.
yeah, man. Like I said, the long term goal, what I want to do, right, is be able to be a positive influence on those around me. Help
uh,
others get to where they want to be. Like that. That's it.
and
Um,
I think you're doing it. And I mean
we're working towards it.
you might not see it, you might not see it like you want to see it with numbers or whatever and whatnot, but I think just being on the platform and being who you are, you kind of give your generation a role model.
That means a
And
lot coming from you, man.
and it's hard to find a role model now. It really is. It's hard to in these times. It's hard to find somebody you want to role model after and learn from. And I think we can all learn from somebody your age, even being older. You can learn from being around somebody your age and being as humble as you are, and you take your time to process things. And a lot of people don't do that. So I mean, I think you're well ahead of where you think you are.
I can tell you one thing: I'm not stopping anytime soon.
That's how you got to be. I mean, it should never stop. Like if there's room in front of you, you got to keep going.
Yes,
But
sir.
like I said, guys, make sure you guys stop by his channel and hit the follow button. Give him a watch. Check out what he's doing. They're doing some crazy shit with Minecraft. Like I'm not into Minecraft, but what they're doing over
Yeah, we
there on
are.
this server, it's fucking wild. Like I was just telling him at the beginning, he needs to start putting this shit to YouTube because what they're doing is something different than I've ever seen. And I think if they put it on there, like it'll take off and it could change their content and the way that they want it to be changed. But that is gonna, like I said, guys, we will be back. We'll also be back Thursday night. We have JG 603 on. And then don't forget, we also have the suicide prevention for AFSP August 22nd. That will be a 24-hour stream. And that will have a ton of different content creators. I mean, we have 10 on the list, but there's more. I only put the 10 on the list because those guys are gonna have the shirt that AFSP is giving out to all of us. Those 10, they were the first ones to jump on board and whatnot. So they're getting a t-shirt. So you'll see each one of us that are streaming with the shirt. Um, Good chance we may be on the front page of Twitch, so it could be huge. Um, we're waiting to hear back on that because the lady that's with AFSP, they have a charity contact. We're actually getting. She's actually from the New York chapter, which is the big granddaddy mother of them all of the chapter. So to have somebody from that organization on the stream is like poof in my mind. So like I said, there will be giveaways during that stream. We have it all planned out. Manscaped has jumped on. Uh, we're gonna get people. Yes, we got a lot of people coming on that are gonna be over the age of 30. We got a lot of people coming on. Like now, what I'm doing is I'm shifting things, and I'm going towards like the people that I've ran with for a while. So you guys get to meet those people, um, that are in my circle. So we are going to have, yeah, I'm hoping that we get the front page. I'm hopefully that happens. Like I said, we're gonna have giveaways. Manscaped is giving out. There's a big package, like a $200 some dollar package that they're giving away in it. AFSP's doing giveaways for certain milestones, and then there's going to be giveaways for the top three or top four donators. We'll also get like a package deal from the AFSP. So there's going to be a lot of giving out. I know I got a couple things I'm probably going to give away myself, but there's just going to be so much incentive, and there's going to be so much information for mental health and awareness and numbers and talking, and just hopefully open up, and hopefully we smack the goal of $2,000 this year. I would love it. I mean, we hit the front page, we're gonna smash that goal. It's gonna be probably a dumb number that we never thought we'd ever see, being that we're not like these huge streamers like Tim the Tap Man and all that stuff. So definitely looking forward to that. And remember, August 22nd, guys. That is going to be the big date. But we're going to let Chase get out of here and do his thing. I don't know if he's going to go play Minecraft, whatever, what he's going to do, but we're going to
Yeah,
let him
jumping over
go.
to Minecraft.
Well, there you guys go. You guys go check him out and see what the hell he's building. I'm telling you guys see this thing? It's like, you're like, where does that even come from in somebody's mind? Like, there's a bunch of them building it. So it's not just him, but it's intense. Like I watched it the one night. I'm like, dude, like where does your mind fathom to put this shit together? Because I'm not creative like that, so my mind doesn't work like that. So when I see that stuff, I get like intrigued real quick. But guys, make sure you stop by his channel. I will post it again real quick. like 40 times for him. So he
Thank you,
can,
Ben. That's awesome.
so you guys can click it. I don't want to hear any excuses why you couldn't click it. So there it is. No excuses why it can't be clicked. Go click it. Hit the notification bell when you know either one. Check them out, guys. We are gonna switch over. I think we are. I think we might actually get into some breakpoint. I'm not too sure. I gotta get with my buddy Felony Gaming and see if that's what we're doing or what the hell we're playing. But I appreciate each one of you guys being here for the 3 hours. Wasn't expected to go that long. I was only thinking about an hour, but apparently me and him can talk pretty well. Well, yeah,
Hey,
you guys know I can fucking talk.
put us together. We could talk for days.
Right. So, anyways, guys, make sure you get to hit that thing. We will be back Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, till then, guys, peace.